These two grown men had never seen the Simpsons. How the fuck's that even happen? We're two grown men on a mission now, so buckle up and just strap in.
No matter what you do, he's never gonna be with you. He's into what he's got. He loves me, he loves you not.
Two grown men had never seen the Simpsons. It's America's Barley Basket.
Welcome to episode 85 of America's Barley Basket. I'm Nathan Folsebuck, and sitting next to me, physically, is Marlin Wells.
Hello, Nathan.
Hello, Marlin.
It looked like it took you some effort to get that out.
Right? Yeah, this shouldn't be this hard. I'm already concerned about the Miller Lite consumption so far.
Are you?
Yeah.
You a little worried?
Yeah, it went a little too hard. I was thirsty. You ever do that where you're like, you don't even plan on getting drunk, but you're just thirsty? It's like, oh, I should be drinking water.
Yeah.
There's better options for thirst.
I think you're fine.
Yeah, I'm tough. I'm one of the toughest people ever, probably.
Yeah, probably ever, I'd
know,
say.
yeah.
Yeah, you're up there. Yeah, for sure.
Oh boy, I do not want to know where I rank. World. Yeah.
You're right under Haku. Yeah, it's Haku and then Nathan Folsebuck.
Who is the other member of the Samoan SWAT team? I'm right one above him and one right below Haku.
That I don't know.
Yeah. Oh no, they were the Islanders. They went to Samoan SWAT team is a good tag team name. When I was a kid, there were the Islanders and there was a Samoan SWAT team. They might have been different federations. Jesus, is it already this early in? 90 seconds and we got to go into 80s wrestling.
Is it already an 80s wrestling podcast?
My goodness, we can't.
How does this keep happening?
Gotta stop. We need a manager.
Like a Bobby Heenan
Keep us in line.
Or a Cornette.
Yeah, a Captain Lou.
How about a Mr. Fuji?
Yeah. R.I.P.
Pour one out.
I think Slick.
Most of those guys.
I think Slick is still alive. We might have to call Slick.
Slick's still kicking?
Slick's still with us.
Okay. Are you the boss man or the Hakeem?
I think I gotta be the boss man by default. I think you have the panache to pull off Hakeem.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And much like Hakeem, I am equally African.
Yeah, right.
Which is to say, not at all.
Holy shit! Looking back at that,
gimmick.
The whitest white guy ever is gonna pretend to be from Africa.
Yep. Why not?
And why? Like, what cultural trend were they catching on to? None of it made any sense.
Beats me. I never saw those wardrobes again until Black Panther.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they were doing with Hakeem.
Yeah. And he was the one-man gang was over. One-man gang worked.
Yeah.
One-man gang was a big scary dude, but no, let's make him Hakeem.
And put him with the cop.
Yeah. None of it added up.
It's wrestling.
Yeah, right. Why are we looking for logic in a world of chaos?
Exactly. You got to just let some things ride when it comes to wrestling logic.
You know where else you have to let things ride? The Simpsons.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, pulling it all back together.
We're gonna wrap one up today, buddy. We're gonna wrap up season 19 and then go on to season 20.
Just dip a toe into season 20.
Just a little. Oh, what's this like?
See how it feels.
Oh, what's
we
season
into this?
20 doing over here? Season 19, first things first. We're gonna start with episode 17, Apocalypse Cow. A lot of real relatable material in this one.
And I got to start off with something of this. The episode begins with the kids watching Saturday morning cartoons.
Hell yeah.
I did a little deep dive into this. This aired in 2008. This episode aired in 2008.
Sure.
My first thought was, I bet Saturday morning cartoons were pretty damn irrelevant even by 2008.
Yeah.
I looked into it. By 2008, the big three, ABC, CBS, the ones we grew up with, ABC, CBS, NBC, they were pretty much done. All they were showing was like the federally mandated educational cartoons.
Really?
That no one wanted. By 2008, the big three were out of the cartoon game. How fucking nuts is that? Basically, at this point, it was only the CW. Like the fifth out of the five networks. And the CW kept it alive. They were the only flame burning for Saturday morning cartoons until 2014. When they were done, it was done.
That's never occurred to me that maybe Saturday morning cartoons aren't real anymore, because how could they not be? That's an institution.
Yep. Well, I remember it because like 5, 6, 7 years ago, there was like a series of news stories that for the first time since 1961, no network aired Saturday morning cartoons this morning.
What do they air on Saturday mornings then?
Probably just like fishing shows or just like reruns of other stuff and like maybe some live action, more preteen orientated. Well, because NBC started that trend in the 90s. They started ending the cartoons earlier and earlier. When they were putting more of the Saved by the Bell, was it Hang Time was the one with the female basketball player who played on the boys team, where the actor Anthony Anderson got his start, who you would totally recognize. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. From season 4 of The Shield.
Yeah. And then there was another one where there was like a surf theme. They were like at a California Dreams or something like that. There was Saved by the Bell, the new class.
Uh-huh.
They called it TNBC because they were going for the teens.
Oh, I see.
I'm like the right age for Saved by the Bell. I always thought it was awful. Like I was being a snob back then to stuff like that.
I feel like I can remember being a youngster, and when that shit started showing up on NBC, it was time to switch over to CBS.
Yeah,
but odds are I was probably on CBS already because that's where the Ninja Turtles aired.
Yeah.
So what
CBS.
the fuck? What does a fucking 10-year-old today do now on a Saturday morning?
They watch the cartoons they can watch whenever they want. That's my nephews are probably 6 and 10. They've never not lived in a world they just can't watch the cartoons they want to watch whenever they want because everything streams.
I suppose.
Because my mom talks about them coming to their place for the weekend, like, Grandma, Paw Patrol. And she's like, I don't know what channel that is. They're like, channel? ?
Oh, no.
And so it's like, yeah, then it's like, okay, we got to do some things before these kids erupt because they've never not in their life been able to watch any show they want ever, like. Just so wild to think of.
They've never had to sit through commercials?
No, never. No, they don't understand it.
Christ, we sound like the oldest
men
men
My
right
day,
now. But
we only ate boiled frankfurters.
If you wanted another bowl of cereal, you had to run during the commercial break.
Yeah. I used to wake up at 6:30 a.m. and sit there and watch the Prairie Farm Report because I was so geeked up to watch cartoons. I'd have to wait. Like a couple of times, I would go into my mom's room and just shake her because she worked nights. She'd only been asleep for Mom. When are cartoons? Mom. When she's like, it's pitch black outside. Pitch black. It's like, just go back to bed. I like lay at the foot of her bed for 20 minutes, get up, Mom, cartoons.
Holy Christ.
God, I loved it. And boy, they always put some duds on at 7 a.m. That's when you get
the first ones out are the hottest.
I remember some Camp Candy, the John Candy.
Oh, I remember. I don't think I've ever seen it, but I know it.
Where the Berenstein Bears was early in the morning.
They had a TV show?
They had a cartoon.
Oh, good for them.
CBS.
I knew the books.
Yeah. And then you eventually got about 8, 9s when you got into the heavy hitters. You get the Pee-wee. You get the Muppet Babies. I was a Muppet Babies fan. That was mine. And then you get Garfield, and then you get the Turtles.
Yeah, I feel like Muppet Babies was kind of starting to get phased out. Or I just have a horrible memory.
No, you're right.
It's one of the two.
Yep.
Because, I vaguely remember Muppet Babies. For me, the highlights were Garfield and Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Like I could give a fuck about any of the I'm sure I watched them, but I don't remember caring about the rest of the cartoons. Another one I remember from back then, motherfucking Beakman's World.
Yeah, that was also
I watched
CBS.
Beakman's World.
You were a CBS boy, yeah.
Yeah. It was one of the channels we got.
And then around 11 o'clock was when the cartoons had kind of turned into duds. That's when you get like CBS Kids Story Break and stuff like that. Or, oh man. Well, actually, ABC you could switch over to, and they would often have a block of Warner Brothers Bugs Bunny cartoons, which that'd be the only cartoons that would get my dad to stop. Like if he's walking through the house and like watch for a bit, because man, because they are timeless. They're the bomb.
They're still great.
World War II era cartoons. It'll still make you laugh.
Yeah.
Like
we didn't have ABC. We didn't have that luxury. So
I'm trying to think what was even NBC's money makers back then.
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, and they had. I remember CBS used to have a Dungeons and Dragons cartoon. I always kind of thought that was lame.
I think that was gone by the time I showed up, but I know of it in retrospect. Yeah.
I know there was some. Well, NBC had stuff that I never was into. They had like the Smurfs. They had like gummy bears.
Yeah.
They had the snorkels.
I remember gummy bears.
I think maybe NBC aimed went for more girl centric cartoons. Maybe.
I was just here for Garfield and Ninja Turtles. I feel like everything else was just filler.
I mean, because I was a peak Garfield nerd, like 8 or 9 when that cartoon debuted, and I enjoyed it. But I remember thinking, like, this isn't as good as the comic strip. I remember just feeling a little cheated.
See, and that's our age difference. I think Garfield is a television show.
Yep. See, I was the books.
I've been like, there was probably a time in my life where I got a hold of a newspaper comic section and was like, oh, they made the show a cartoon strip.
Oh, really? Yeah. No, I was,
Because we didn't get a paper that had a comic strip in it.
Oh, no doubt, yeah.
That would have been the Bismarck Tribune, which we didn't get.
Shout out to Minot Daily.
Oh, look at you. Yeah. No, so like, but Grandma and Grandpa got it. So if you were ever over there, you could wrestle Grandpa for the comic strips because Grandpa always wanted the funny pages.
I always think it's interesting going to a different town and see what comic strips they do or do not have. Minot Daily been running Funky Winkerbean for going on 30 years. They must get a handwritten note from the artist of Funky Winkerbean thanking them. Like,
get a big tin of popcorn around the holidays.
Thank you from the Funky family. Keep Winkerbean alive.
I wonder if that original Ninja Turtles cartoon series is streaming anywhere. I have it on DVD, all 10 seasons on DVD.
Really? Seems like a lot of that Saturday morning stuff must be tied up, because it seems like more of it should be streaming, but it's not. A lot of that stuff ain't out there.
I feel like all of it came to DVD. I remember seeing the Garfield and Friends DVD box sets,
really,
but never. And I never saw the Ninja Turtles individuals, but they released them all in a. That's what that van is on that shelf over there. Is the DVD set.
I always like how much they pushed U.S. Acres.
Hell yeah.
On the guard, like they really were trying to build a whole new franchise for Jim Davis, weren't they?
Yeah.
And I owned a couple U.S. Acres books. Those comic strips were fine. They're just, just
Orson,
like Garfield.
Sheldon. Yeah. The other characters who can't.
Sheldon was the egg.
Yeah.
And then he had a brother who had hatched, who was more heroic.
And there was the grown-up duck with the life that wore the life preserver.
Oh yeah, Wade.
Oh, there you go. Yep. Yeah. And then Orson was the pig.
Yeah. Well, then the chicken was kind of the protagonist.
Sure.
Or, I mean, the antagonist, pardon me. The chicken was the one that would often start problems. Like,
okay. If you say
he was the Daffy
so.
He was the Daffy Duck to Orson's Bugs Bunny kind of.
Okay. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
I was always more of a Daffy guy than a Bugs guy in the Looney Tunes. Like Bugs always wins, and that's boring.
Yeah, that is true. I like early Daffy, where he was a standalone, just out of his mind. That's why he was Daffy. He was Daffy Duck.
Yeah.
It was just him losing his shit. Like he should not have any. You shouldn't.
He needs a handler.
Yep. Right. Yeah. He needs. Yeah. I hope so. He's handed off things to a responsible adult.
The cartoon they're watching on The Simpsons is Transclownomorphs, which I thought was very funny. Transformers, just a touch before my time. I have friends who are super into Transformers who are a little older than me, but by the time I showed up, it was like the kids ahead of me were into Transformers and the kids younger than me were into Power Rangers. And kids my age were into Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. Transformers, loved the cartoon as a kid. I was the perfect right age for the cartoon. I owned some of the toys, but they were never my favorite toy. They sucked to play with.
Not tough to make them do wrestling moves.
Right, yeah. Try to do a Texas Cloverleaf with Starscream and Optimus Prime. It's going to look like shit. No one's going to buy it. And they just they didn't especially when you're real little and you're not coordinated, they can't take a beating. They got parts that'll break. There's parts you can't bend a certain way or it'll snap off.
Too many moving parts on a Transformer.
Like I'd buy one. This is cool. Look, I'd figure it out. Hey, that's how you make it into a bus. And then it's just like it collect dust.
Well, now what?
Yep, right. Yeah.
Now it's a bus.
Yeah. Now I own a bus now.
You'd never buy a toy bus, but you'll buy a toy robot that turns into a bus.
I was like, one thing Transformers had figured out is they had Transformers at different price points. There were little G.I. Joe sized Transformers. Then there were like He-Man guy sized Transformers. And then there was the big swinging dick ones that were like 10 inches tall when they were unfolded out.
10 inches is a big
That's swinging dick. That's a swinging dick.
That's a swinger.
Yeah.
So they're watching Transclownomorphs, much like Transformers. It's just an advertisement for the toys and shit. Bart and Homer go to Shelbyville to get the beanbags filled, which is a fun errand to run. Yeah. I like that they just have the beanbags in the backseat of the car, just slowly leaking beans out, and you can see them deflating in the background.
And it's just the two of them, right?
Yeah, it's just Bart and Homer.
Because earlier in that scene, it's when Marge all happily goes, Lisa, I've got a big bunch of brown bananas. You know what that means? And Lisa's like, banana bread. She's so excited.
Excitedly squeezes a black banana into a bowl.
I was remember that as a kid, just seeing some black as night bananas. Like, either mom's really fucking not caring anymore. We got banana bread coming.
Either we're gonna have banana bread or this household is falling to shit.
Right. It's either new banana bread or new mommy.
Oh, God bless my mom, who hates bananas with a fiery passion.
Really?
But would keep them on hand and would make banana bread.
Fresh loaf of banana bread, man.
Banana bread.
Yep.
With some walnuts in it.
I actually probably prefer just, but if someone hands with walnuts, happily eat it. I mean, it's, a small fraction. I prefer just plain with just a healthy layer of butter.
Too much butter.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
that's
way too much butter.
There's a difference between living and living well.
Tracy Lawrence. As they're heading to Shelbyville to get the beanbags refilled, they drive past a combine driven by Martin. First note, not how combines work.
Yep.
Because he's combining grain, and coming out the back are fully pressed and wrapped square bales.
Yeah.
Those are two different machines.
Yeah.
But I like that for the simplicity of The Simpsons, that's the same farm machine.
And how easily they could converse.
Right.
Yeah.
You're riding in a combine. You're not conversing with anybody, much less somebody on the road fucking 100 feet away. But he's combining and enjoying himself and preaching to Bart the merits of 4-H.
Yeah. Oh, boy. When I saw this.
Oh, boy.
I was like,
when I saw this.
Holy shit. Are we going to have a 4-H episode? Is that Marlin's birthday?
And we fucking had a 4-H episode. I couldn't believe it. Bart joins 4-H. And I like that the banner above the farm says 4-H. It's still a thing, which I thought was funny. I was curious because I grew up in 4-H. I was in 4-H all from 5 to 18 or whatever the ages are. I was curious to see what 4-H looked like to someone else other than me because I was in it, so I don't know. But apparently 4-H is pretty strictly a farm kid thing, I'm learning.
Yeah.
I think I assumed that.
Oh, totally.
I got a lot of things confirmed in this episode.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is how people see 4-H. I got it. They didn't show all of like the fundraising and cleaning up the park. They just showed some of the fun farm stuff, which that's fine. That's fine. Bart is driving the combine, which is fun. First, Bart does the 4-H pledge, which that is the 4-H pledge.
I recognize enough of it. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of fun stuff for me in this episode. Then Bart's in the combine and he's combining things.
Yeah.
And this is where, like, I feel like we made the combine do this so we could get these jokes of him running over things that aren't grain and it being square when it comes out the back. My favorite being that he goes through a pile of manure and out the back comes pressed DVD copies of Pirates of the Caribbean 3.
Yeah. They really get a lot of miles out of the whole. Here's Bart raising hell with a combine. What possibly could he run through this thing? What could pop out of the other end? Yeah,
and then we get a joke of Bart like running down the checklist when he's turning off the combine, like, hydraulic lever here, brakes, blah, blah, blah. And then the last thing on the checklist is farm subsidy check for crops I didn't plant.
Yeah.
Puts it in his pocket.
Biting political satire.
Mm-hmm. The next thing they're going to do for 4-H is to pick a calf and raise it and then take it to the county fair where they will be judged. And this is exactly how this looks. They're picking a calf. Ralphie is on that fucking sawhorse. All the kids
just bucking, having the time of his life.
All the kids are picking calves and Ralphie's riding a sawhorse. Yeah. That's his calf. I thought that was beautiful. I like that Nelson finds a bully calf.
Yeah.
This is where Bart meets Mary for the first time when he's picking out calves.
That's the name, huh?
Yeah, that's her name. That's Mary. He picks out a calf and names it Lou.
Yeah.
And then we get a montage of him and Lou hanging out and like training.
Yeah.
At one point, Lou is doing one-handed push-ups and then boxing a hanging beef. Then we're at the county fair, and Bart's calf Lou wins, and he's like, "Yay, I win! This is the best day ever." And Lisa has to be like, "You know what happens now, right?" Bart completely clueless, and Lou is taken away for the slaughterhouse, off to the feedlot, and then to be slaughtered, because that's
how it works.
Goes. You learn that lesson early.
Yeah.
There's a scene where Bart is dismayed and telling Homer about it, and he's being all sad, and Homer goes, "The lesson here is never work hard and don't form emotional attachments." And then we get one of my favorite jokes of this episode. There are a bunch, but this is one of my favorites. They go to the fucking feedlot that's attached to the slaughterhouse, and did you catch the name of the feedlot / slaughterhouse? It is Abattoir and Costello.
Jesus,
that is fucking perfect. That's so good. Abattoir and Costello, one of my favorites. Bart and Lisa are breaking in. They rescue Lou with a forklift. Lou is all beefed
jacked up.
On growth hormone.
Like a defensive lineman now.
He licks Bart's arm, and Bart's hair grows on his arm. I love the image of them with Lou on the forklift forks is pretty funny. I was pretty into that. They're like, well, shit, what are we going to do now? We can't take it home, obviously. Yeah. This family only takes in elephants and other absurd animals. A cow, out of the question. They give it to Mary, which it turns out she's Cletus and Brandine's daughter. Yeah. And according to the Hill Folk bylaws, this means they're getting married now.
That's the swerve now.
This is the turn.
Yep.
So Bart gonna bite the bullet and get married, apparently, or at least like pretend that he's going to until Lisa gets this figured out, so that the cow is safe. They want Lou to be safe. But now we're at the wedding, and they're gonna get married. And this is my favorite laugh of the whole thing, when the fucking preacher introduces, but is doing the wedding ceremony. It's like, do you, Bart, take Mary WrestleMania Spuckler to be her middle name is WrestleMania, Nathan. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's good.
Holy shit, did I laugh at that.
And is there someone famous doing that voice of the kid?
Zooey Deschanel.
Oh, no shit. Well, there we go. Not a country star yet.
I don't think I've ever seen her in anything.
Yeah.
Other than commercials for the new girl.
You never seen Elf?
No.
Oh, no shit.
I don't like Christmas movies.
Yeah.
I pretty actively dislike Christmas movies, and not a big Will Ferrell fan.
No, oh boy.
Not my bag.
Really?
It's like, I get it. He's goofy.
We might have to, You're right, though. I don't know what else she's done. I'm sure I've seen her in other shit. And I've seen a few episodes of The New Girl. But, I've not seen her a whole lot.
I think that took up a lot of her world. Didn't that thing go on 10 fucking seasons?
Not a bad show. Fine.
Oh, yeah?
It's fine.
Good for her.
Especially for what most sitcoms are. They're pretty forgettable. It's better than your average sitcom.
Okay. Is that the tagline?
Yeah, right? Yeah. Fuck. Nowadays, that should keep a sitcom on the air for a while.
Put that on the DVD box.
Yeah.
So we're having the wedding. I like that the preacher does the do you take fucking Mary WrestleMania Spuckler? Ugh. And Bart is trying to kill time, but he says I do. And then the preacher goes, and since we don't need to hear from her because we don't care what women think, I now pronounce you. He just skips over her part.
Yep. Thanks
to the hillbilly tradition. This is when Marge interrupts and is like, no, you can't. He's fucking 10. Get out of here. And Lou is taken away because that was the deal. Yeah. Well, you called off the wedding. Now the cow goes to the slaughter.
Yeah.
But we see very quickly that that's actually Homer who's in the cattle truck heading to the slaughterhouse, because the real Lou is in the back of their station wagon, dragging along the ground. Yeah. I have ridden in the back of a hatchback of a Chevy Citation with a dairy calf. So you can transport a bovine in a vehicle. I've seen it happen.
Featured prominently in the ads of Chevy Citations. Carry you, your children, and a dairy calf. Strictly dairy calf.
Not beef.
You have some beef calf? Like, what the fuck's wrong
Holsteins,
with you?
jerseys, load them up. But you come around with a black Angus, fuck you.
It was such a rarity growing up. There was no dairy farms really left. So it'd always catch my ear when I'd hear the phrase beef cattle. It sounded redundant to me.
Oh, sure.
It's like, what else would you raise cows for?
I think that way, actually. Like, I think of cattle and dairy cattle, not the other way around.
Yeah.
Like, why specify? Of course.
They're all for meat.
I mean, you can eat a Holstein, too, if you want. It's fine. Nobody will call the police or nothing. Yeah. I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
So Homer, on his way to the slaughterhouse, he's looking out the eyes of this cow costume he's wearing and sees like, oh, I'm at the laughter house, because he's got no peripheral vision. So he's all excited. Meanwhile, we get to the airport with Lou in the back of the car, and we got a fucking like C-31 cargo jet, and you're like, what's going on here? Fucking Apu comes out.
Apu's
This is so perfect.
Yeah.
This is good writing. Like, what are you gonna do with this fucking animal?
Yeah.
Oh, Apu is gonna send it to India where it'll live life like a king. That's great. It's great.
Yeah. Which I love it. It's not like Indian people are out there trying to rescue cattle.
Right. Like, they just treat the ones they have like gods. So Lou and Bart have their tearful farewell, and Lou gets on the plane, and he's headed to India. And then we get like a little bit of slapstick here of Homer wrapped up in the machinery of the slaughterhouse and barely escapes, and that's it. That's the end of the episode.
That's a fine episode.
I liked it.
Yeah.
There was a lot here for me.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
This felt very targeted.
There weren't many like holy fuck level jokes for me, but it was fine.
Yeah.
Good writing too. Like even the slapstick stuff with Homer in the cow costume was good.
Yeah, it was fun. Like him in line with all the rest of the cattle, and he's trying to back up, but the cattle are pushing him forward, and all the robots in the slaughterhouse. Like, that's fun.
Very complex slaughterhouse.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're not like that in real life.
Rube Goldbergian slaughterhouse. I've been to a like a killing floor. It doesn't look like that.
It's not nearly as intricate.
It's just a bored man in his early 40s with a pneumatic bolt gun.
Just some union slaughterhouse guy just working his fourth 10-hour shift in a row. Like, has
the same look on his face that Javier Bardem has in No Country for Old Men when he has the pneumatic bolt gun, just fucking knocking them. Yeah. Great. I liked this one a lot, but of course I fucking did. So like you said, like as soon as this gets going, you're like, really?
19 seasons and Marlin finally gets his 4-H episode.
One for Marlin. Yeah. So pretty into that one.
Well, sadly, we go out of the world of 4-H.
I'm done. I'm going to go.
Yep. I'll do the next 4.
You take this one. Yeah.
Yep. Almost said FFA, because in my head, FFA and 4-H are kind of intertwined.
I think of FFA as big kids 4-H.
Yep, basically. Yep, exactly.
Like high school 4-H.
Yeah, the kids that were into 4-H when they were 8 will be in FFA when they're 16.
Yeah, and you can be in both. I was.
Yep.
So
episode,
not bragging.
Yeah, well, I kind of bragging. All just draped in the finest purple corduroy jackets.
It's blue, but
is it blue?
Yeah, it's like a navy.
Okay, yeah.
Those things are so fucking hot.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I remember a kid in my grade making fun of them. And the 4-H / or the FFA / shop teacher overheard us, and he lost his mind because you're supposed to take pride in those jackets if you're in the FFA.
The dress code: that jacket, black jeans or slacks, black shoes, white shirt, FFA tie.
Yeah,
that's the dress code.
That's a fun outfit to wear when it's hot.
You show up with it. You show up wearing that thing in jeans, they'll send you home.
Really?
Oh yeah,
with a FUBU football jersey, untucked.
South Pole jeans with a graffiti art down the side.
Yeah, animated cartoon characters on the butt pockets.
Yeah.
With giant unlaced, like fucking, I'm trying to think of like a big lugs.
Yes.
Get your pair of bright white lugs.
Yeah. You think they still make lugs?
I don't know. My brother.
I hope so.
My brother was a lugs supporter.
We need something for the kids that can't afford Timberlands.
Yeah, right. So, episode 18, Any Given Sundance. Starts with the Simpsons going to the big college rivalry football game to tailgate. This is a new Springfield has everything, I think. We've never discussed the collegiate sports.
2 universities.
2 apparently Division I universities.
Yeah, U and A of M.
I'm just going to say, if I remember correctly, it was Springfield U versus A&M. What does A&M stand for in a college title?
I don't know, but let me guess. Something in mechanics.
Yeah.
Alphabet.
Arts? That can't be arts. Because the only A&M I know of is Texas A&M.
Texas.
Yeah.
I think a lot of states have an A&M.
Texas A&M's only known because they are occasionally very good at football.
Yeah.
So they go tailgating, and of course Lisa that's not her jam. She gets bored. She takes out her video camera and works on her school film project.
I was relatively close. Agricultural and mechanical. It's the tech school.
Interesting, yeah. Like I bet some states have a tech and some have an A&M.
Yeah.
There's a Georgia Tech. There's a Louisiana Tech.
Texas Tech and a Texas A&M.
And an A&M.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech is occasionally very good at football. Yeah, so all sorts of options out there for you young. I'm sure we have a lot of teenagers that listen that are ready to get into looking at colleges.
A lot of 17-year-olds right on the cusp listening to you and
Two vibrant young men such as ourselves. Probably
sure.
Role models, I would say we are.
Yeah, for sure.
So Lisa's working on her student film project, which, of course, most 8-year-olds would have.
Yeah, why not?
Yep. It's super artsy-fartsy stuff. It's just kind of like little snippets of life at the tailgating. We get a glimpse of a very drunk, disheveled Barney. Been a long time since we've had a Barney-centric episode. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Like 10 seasons? 8 seasons?
Last time we had a Barney-centric episode, it was about him being sober. Yep. And he's been drunk for a while now.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's been a long time.
And so she makes the movie. She gives it to Principal Skinner, who turns out is a film buff, convinces Lisa that she's talented, but she needs to make a movie about her family life. That's out of that movie. The interesting part is the time she spends showing her own family. And she runs with that, and kind of it's Skinner and Chalmers also as a movie man. They're cinephiles.
And Chalmers mostly wants her to go for it and do it well, and for them to swing it around and show it off, because he wants to stick it to the creative arts school across town, which I thought was fun.
So we get Lisa filming her family. We get like a montage of that where we get a really good Spoon song. I'm a Spoon guy.
Is that who that is?
Yeah,
I remember as I was listening to this going, I like that song. I don't know if I've ever heard it before.
Like I turned my camera on. I think
that was a good song.
Yep.
It's a bop.
Yep. So Skinner and Chalmers, they see the finished product and they think it's a hit. They want to send it to Sundance. And they do, and then the panel sees it, and of course they want movies that are, they don't want just regular old movie makers. They want an interesting backstory, which Lisa has. She's an 8-year-old, showing her dysfunctional family. So it gets accepted, and the Simpsons are going to Utah. We got one of those episodes coming up. The Simpsons are going somewhere. But
what is it, Lake Park or Upper Lake? Or
you're on to something there with
Park City?
Park City, Utah.
We got there.
Yep, we did it.
I don't know where the lake came from.
So they're checking out all the sites of Sundance, which I would love to check out too. Yep. I think it'd be fun to go to Sundance.
Part of me thinks that. Part of me, like, my initial reaction is to agree with you. And then I think, boy, do I hate crowds, and man, do I hate pretentious people. And I bet they're both in fucking droves.
And I'm a bit of a movie snob, so I would enjoy watching all this
I really like movies.
fartsy shit.
Yeah. Like, I'll even sit and watch an artsy-fartsy and enjoy it.
And the movie Lisa has made is called Capturing the Simpsons, which is a play on a documentary that was probably fucking close to a decade prior, I think, called Capturing the Freedmans.
Okay.
Which I don't want to say anything to give it away. It's worth seeing.
Really?
Yeah, Capturing the Freedmans.
Is it also a documentary?
Yep. It's a documentary about a family, about just what you think is a normal family. And yeah, you give away too much because there's a big swerve in it.
All right.
So
no more.
If you're out there listening, check out Capturing the Freedmans.
I loved my favorite bit right around here was Marge excited to see movies, and she's thrown off by all the titles because they're named super fun and not like normal shit.
Yeah.
And then she walks in and it's something awful like, ooh, Candyland, a fun family board game, now a fun family movie. And she walks in just in time for whoever's on the screen to tie off and shoot up fucking horse. Yeah. She's like, oh no.
And then finally she goes, there's one that has a very graphic title. Like, oh, I bet it's like the opposite. This will be the one I'll like. It's like, that was not the one I'll like.
She comes out like disheveled.
She was in there for like 3 seconds. Very delicate sensibilities, Marge Simpson.
Yeah.
So finally, it's time for Lisa's movie to air, and the movie is, as we assume, a hit. Sundance is just talking about it and how great it is, how Lisa's the next great American auteur. But the rest of the Simpsons ain't feeling it because they are, sure, it sucks to be, have your dirty laundry aired, but don't be the shittiest people on earth.
That's fair.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lisa's not showing them in an unkind light. She just shined a light on her family, and they were who they were.
Yeah.
There ain't a whole lot of creative editing. These are pretty shitty people.
They still kind of come at her, though.
Yep.
And I do like how she's like, well, like, I guess that's just how it came together in the editing room. And then it says up on the screen, edited by Lisa Simpson.
Yeah. That was a good gag. So now I do this whole side story of Skinner and Chalmers, because they're the producers, are now the belles of the ball.
So good.
And they're just like, finally we have gotten what we deserve. We are the stars. They're just so happy, and they're just trying to play it cool, like they don't want to accept the first offer thrown their way and stuff like that. Like,
I like that they get into that chili party.
Yeah. And like the clothes they start wearing, like their winter wear and stuff, like
very like puffy jackets and snowmobiling goggles, like that kind of winter rich.
And at one time too, like before they become found, they try to follow the Simpson family into like some kind of elite party or something like that. Or maybe it's just a screening. It might be just a screening. And Bart's the last one to go in, and like Bart's like, these two guys? And they're just standing there like, hey, Bart, and he just, no.
Never seen
get thrown down an icy hill.
They get ejected on that fucking toboggan and kicked down the hill.
That's what it is, yeah.
And then they show them like go flying through a Mormon church, and they come out the other side surrounded by wives. Yeah. And Skinner's like, there's no way this is real, right? And the one wife like leans in and is just like, no, it's not. You're unconscious on the hill back there. Yeah. And it just cuts to them splayed out at the bottom of this hill. I thought that was an extremely funny bit.
So now, since the movie's caught on like wildfire, anytime the rest of the Simpson family's out in public, they're basically treated like freaks. Like, hey, Homer,
look at them.
Scream at me,
Hey,
like
strangle my kid. Yeah.
And so Lisa is now on her own, and she's kind of down in the dumps, and she runs into Jim Jarmusch. A lot of Jim Jarmusch in this episode.
Yeah, a lot. I had to look up who he is. I had no idea.
You'd recognize some of the movies he's made. I mean, his early stuff was really indie, really indie. Like,
that's the vibe. I picked that up contextually.
And then as he's went on, he's done
bigger,
a few big, not big, but he's did a few things people recognize.
I don't think I'm looking at his filmography right now. I don't think I've ever seen anything he's done.
I think you'd enjoy Ghost Dog: Way of the Samurai. Look like a ghost dog.
Oh, is that Forrest Whitaker?
Yeah,
I do know. I have seen that.
Okay.
That movie's fucking bad.
What?
That movie's not good.
I can't believe the podcast is going to end over a Forrest Whitaker movie, but
I'm going to say this. I saw it when I was probably 20 years old.
Yeah.
Maybe it deserves a revisit.
I think it does.
Okay.
And he probably
like Forrest Whitaker a lot.
3 years ago, he did that weird ass, I never saw it, the weird ass zombie movie with like Bill Murray.
Oh, Dead Don't Die.
Yeah, that's a
with
Jim
Adam
Jarmusch.
Driver and Sturgill Simpson.
Yeah, that's a Jarmusch. He also did Broken Flowers with Bill Murray probably like 10 years ago. That might have been one of the bigger, widely released movies that he's done.
Yeah, looking at his movies like from 2000 onward, it reads like Diet Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah. Yeah, he never pulls in enough money, so he probably doesn't. He gets a half the budget. Like, you can make your movie, but you're not going to get Paul Thomas Anderson.
Sure, yeah. Not getting that PTA money.
Yep. So Lisa runs into Jim Jarmusch, and Skinner and Chalmers already have another movie in the can.
Yeah.
What's the name of their production company? It's whispered.
Skin Chalm.
Skin Chalm.
Something like that.
Chalmskin.
Chalmskin. That's what it is. It sounds gross.
Yeah.
Sounds like something you cut off of somebody.
Which I know that is what their logo and the way they say it. They're taking that from another older prestige movie production company.
Sure.
I just can't. I don't know if it's Janus Films or something like that, but
I expected them at some point, like, because there's a lot of scenes in movie theaters in this episode. I at some point expected them to make the Grace Productions joke where they sit down in the theater and you get the shush and maybe the music. Because we see that at the end of every episode.
Yeah, good point.
I expected it. Yeah. I was waiting for it the whole time.
So the next Chalmskin joint is a documentary about the life of Nelson.
So good.
And we get some good. Yeah. Nelson's life is ridiculous.
Whew.
What was it? Where does his mom's got to steal a bra from where? Like
the laundromat, I think.
Jesus, that's depressing.
You're going to be the classiest lady at Classy Ladies. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, that whole scene, and then the end of it is they're at the beach, I think, and there's a close up of Nelson's face. That's taken from like a 1950s French art house movie called The 400 Blows. Like I was like, who is this meant for? A movie that is 50 years old at this point, that was never a hit and probably never aired in America, but it is a jerk off art house classic. You know, like, I like it. Should call it a jerk off. I'm kind of a jerk off though. So.
I can't believe you picked up on that. Yeah. So that is so like fucking auteur, fucking tug indie film horse shit.
Yeah.
That I know the reference without seeing the movie.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's such a cliche that I know the reference.
Yeah.
Like, and then Finn at the end.
Yep.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Like when Netflix disc became all the rage, I powered through a lot of that European art house shit from the 50s and 60s. Which some of it, it's good. I know, but some of it's incomprehensible. Like I just don't get it. Like my goatee isn't pointed enough for me. I don't have a beret that fits tight enough to.
I would like for you to put together like a 3-film list of that kind of shit because and I'll watch them because I have no exposure and no desire to see any of that. So it's like, just show me what you see in this shit. You know. And I think the closest I've ever come to giving any of that a shot is like, what's the one fucking French movie that everyone saw fucking 15 years ago?
Amelie?
There you go. I was about to say it's a woman's name that starts with an A, and you were right there. I saw that and was like, this sucks my asshole. I don't like this at all.
God, I don't even remember what I thought of it. All I remember I think the director that made Amelie made the 4th Alien movie, and I can never forgive him for how bad that movie turned out.
Is that Insurrection?
Resurrection.
Yep. Insurrection is a Star Trek.
It's a Star Trek, there we go. But yeah, this is not the person to direct a goddamn alien movie. Not everything has to be foo-foo in Italian, or silly in French is more. It is
funny though when big studios give big franchises to auteur directors.
And often I like that. You choose the right person.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I immediately think of Ang Lee directing Hulk, and that didn't work at all.
Which, man, Ang Lee's made some of my favorite movies. I've never seen that Hulk.
It's not good.
Yeah, that sucks.
I think it's worth seeing to see how bad it is.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, I think it's worth seeing because I think there are some things visually interesting in that movie. Like he does a lot of like cool stuff with like comic panels. That is fun to see. But the story's awful. Like the movie is outright bad. That movie's so bad that Sam Elliott is bad in it. You know how bad a movie has to be to make Sam Elliott suck in it?
Good point. Yeah. I wonder if Ang Lee is asked about it in interviews, what he says.
No idea. Yeah. I've never bothered looking it up.
Be interesting to know.
I like Crouching Tiger and I like Brokeback Mountain. But
yeah, he made a movie called The Ice Storm, which is one of my, it's hard to say favorite because the movie is just an endless, depressing heartbreak, but it's so fucking good. He made a movie about 10, 12 years ago called Lust, Caution. Lust, Caution. Pretty sure it's all in Chinese. It's 2.5, if not 3 hours long, either based during the Japanese occupation of China or when the Maoist communist government was taking over. So very depressing time in their history, very like brutal and hard fucking scenes. Like pubes, exposed pubic hair,
really
and just
getting in it.
Normal people fucking hard. I think it has an NC-17 rating in America, but like they loved it overseas so much that it made its money back. But like it was like his statement movie. Like, I don't care if it's not going to be able to show in America. This movie would never be a hit in America to begin with.
I don't care if 7 of you see it.
Yep. Yeah. Like, do you think people would come out to see this if it was in English? A 3-hour movie based in 1930s China? That's an erotic love story. Like, yeah. But
period piece erotic Chinese movie.
Man, when you're told we're gonna have to get a lot of Bush in this, are you cool with showing Bush? Like, fuck it, I guess.
I was trying to think of like, what has he even done lately? He did Life of Pi, which my mind thinks that's a Danny Boyle movie because my mind confuses it with Slumdog Millionaire.
Oh, yep. Life of Pi was good.
And he also did Gemini Man with fucking Will Smith, where it's Will Smith versus young Will Smith.
Yeah, that's an Ang
which I didn't
movie,
see.
Huh? No, nor did I.
No, my Ang Lee love pretty much starts and ends with Crouching Tiger and Brokeback Mountain. I should watch this Bush film though.
There you go. I know you like Bush movies. That's always been
Oliver
your thing.
Stone's W? No, yeah. I mean the Ang Lee.
Wow, another random ass movie.
I mean the Ang Lee fucking movie. You should watch Hulk, by the way, and come back and report.
You think that's on Disney Plus?
No,
it isn't. Really?
I bet it's not.
Interesting. Because isn't it part of the MCU technically though?
No.
No shit. Really.
The Ed Norton Hulk movie is technically, but everyone just kind of ignores it.
No kidding.
Yeah, because A, it's kind of just okay, and B, like Mark Ruffalo is the Hulk. They're like, forget about that one.
I wonder why Ed Norton didn't want to be part of that.
Well, from what I understand, Ed Norton's super hard to work with.
Interesting. Huh.
So I'm not surprised.
Yeah, but it's not, I mean, but I guess he's, not everyone's after fame, but just like he should have, his agent would have been, I bet his agent begged him, please.
One of precious few folks to ever get recast in the MCU.
Yeah.
Most of them, it's like him and Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard. That was a money thing with Terrence Howard, I think, right?
He wanted more money.
Yeah.
And like when the Incredible Hulk came out, the MCU wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
That's made MCU canon in retrospect.
Yeah.
But outside of that,
baby steps at that point.
They weren't thinking of that when they made that movie.
So getting back to Nelson's documentary.
Oh, right.
Nelson's
documentary.
So now Nelson's documentary, it just kind of shows the fickle nature of Hollywood. Now Nelson's movie is the new talk of Sundance, and everyone just forgets about The Simpsons.
And that's Jarmusch's lesson.
Yep.
Is like, hey, this is a fickle business. Mm-hmm. No one's going to care by the end of this movie.
And it's basically then Lisa seeing the rest of her family and explaining, and they're like, well, we're not happy, but, we're happy that you did what you do and whatever. And now no one's accosting them in the streets. So it's kind of an all's well that ends well.
Yeah. They're happy to have their anonymity back, really.
Yeah. Which, yeah. And I know in my head, this episode was perfectly fine, but the best with the Nelson related shit at the end. Cause
that Nelson movie is
I'd watch
super funny.
I would watch a Nelson movie.
Yeah. God, and it ends with Finn. That's so douchey. The only movie that I will accept ends with Finn is the Meg, that shark movie.
Does it really?
That's fucking funny.
That's awesome.
That's super funny. Because it's a shark fin.
Yeah.
You get it? The movie's just okay. But watch it just for that.
God, that's... Every once in a while, I'm in the mood for a dumb giant shark movie. I'm glad they keep getting made.
Yeah, The Meg is good for that, and Deep Blue Sea is good for that.
Holy shit! dig deep and find the Deep Blue Sea soundtrack cut by LL Cool J about him wearing his hat like a shark fin.
My head is like a shark fin.
Oh, my God.
Fuck yeah. That song sucks.
It does very much.
It's so good. Episode 19 is Mona Leaves. We get Mo at the fucking mall bumming people out by pretending he's about to leave and then not.
What a thing.
In the parking lot, which is very funny because people are pulling up. Are you leaving?
Yeah.
Which I can't imagine ever doing.
Yeah.
I'm also not the person who sees someone walking to their car and then just sits and waits for them to back out. I've never been that
really?
person.
If they're close enough, I will.
Fucking move along, make a lap. And if you miss it, you miss it.
I got that from campus where it was, I get that spot or I just drive home because I'm going to have to park 8 blocks away.
Yeah.
So that I'll box out. I'm clearing the lane.
Campus parking sucks.
It's insane.
It should be illegal to oversell lots the way they do.
It's crazy how bad it is.
We sell 5,000 parking passes for these 300 spots.
Why do they want you to fail? They want you to keep coming back and spending more money, I'm guessing.
It's just price gouging. It's shitty and needs to be regulated.
Yeah.
I said it.
You did? Yeah. Said it here first.
So we're at the mall. The kids have got sweaters and they hate them. They're itchy. I don't like a sweater. I'm not a sweater person.
I don't know if I've ever worn a sweater as an adult. Hated them I don't like sweatshirts.
I've come around on sweatshirts a little as long as it's a full zip with a hood.
Oh, that's totally different. I mean, sweatshirt, pull it over yourself.
No,
wearing it inside like a regular dress shirt.
No.
I
ain't pulling over shit.
Yep. T-shirt.
I was about to say, you know what I pull over? A T-shirt.
Yep.
That's it.
God, there was a time when sweatshirts were the rage, like a 90s kid, like a bomb equipment sweatshirt was a pretty big
hot
fashion.
Shit.
Yep.
Get a nice Charlotte Hornets sweatshirt. I'm not a fan. Because you know what I don't need as a big chubby fella?
Yeah.
That fucking 2-inch strap around the bottom that hugs you too tight and then just pulls up.
And it's always going to go over the gut.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Sneeze and it's going to go over the gut. Like same thing. Do you remember when the zipless windbreaker pullover was a thing?
Yes, I do.
Insanity. Who wants that?
No one.
Skinny people that don't even think twice about shit.
I was about to say it's thin people.
Yeah, the thins.
The thins
are ruining it. Yeah. Who with the one big pocket in the front?
Yep.
That was a common thing.
Not a fan.
Never even made the purchase because even at a young age I knew I'm not built for that.
Yeah.
I am not shaped like people that should be shaped to wear things like that.
I own one pullover hoodie that I like because it has it's got a big neck hole and then it's laced the way like a hockey jersey is. So it has the laces at the neck.
Yeah.
And I like that. And it fits perfectly right now. But I'm not fucking wearing that thing out in public until I'm 100 pounds until it's way too big on me.
Blousy on me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Until it's a fucking moo-moo that hangs down to my dick. Then I'll fucking wear it.
You'll wear a belt around it as a one piece. Show off your gams.
Wear it like a Roman tunic.
Yeah.
Because because I'm not going to sit down in that thing and have it come up in the back all the way to my neck.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Gets you Marlin's asshole.
Wouldn't have pegged him for a tramp stamp, man. By the way, if you want to, you could peg him. Look at how he's dressed.
He's asking for it. Look at him. Just out here fucking flaunting it.
Oh, progressive boy. Oh, shit. Yeah, not a fan of anything pullover other than a T-shirt. So the kids get sweaters, and then they go to the Stuff and Hug, which is a
Build-A-Bear.
A Build-A-Bear, yeah, where you pick out the bear and then you stuff it in the machine, and you can have it be anything you want, you know, career-wise.
Yeah.
That moment of Ralphie with the bear on the stuffing machine and the squeaky voiced teen being like, how much love do you want in your bear? Ralphie goes, I want all of it. And you see the bear swell up way too big and then explodes, which is fun. God, I love Ralph. Second good Ralphie moment in this batch after the sawhorse.
Yeah.
We get Lisa, who has a stuffed dolphin, being like, there's a fun bit of her being like, oh, I want my dolphin to be a doctor. And then, no, how about a nurse? So what about a professor? How about a kindergarten teacher? Yeah. Like, all of the girl options are lesser. And then finally she's like, actually, it's a boy dolphin. And they're like, oh, a doctor then. And give it to her. And she's like, we really pulled one on them, didn't we? Bart comes across the hippo that you can record a message on. Yeah. And then we get that scene of Homer in that section surrounded by these hippos, and they're all just saying different, they're talking shit in Bart's voice because he's recorded all of them to dunk on Homer. And then Homer fucking loses it and murders all these stuffed hippos. And I love him, that shot, it's an overhead shot, him on his knees in front of all these disassembled stuffed hippos going, it didn't have to go down like this.
Isn't he shirtless too?
Yeah, he's got his shirt off. Oh, God damn it, that's funny. I've never been to a Build-A-Bear, but that if that's what it's like, that looks like fun.
I think like 7-year-old me would have had the time of my life.
Oh, for
you could design your own. I was never a big stuffed animal kid, but give me the option to build my own, I would have geeked out over that.
I also was never a big stuffed animal kid outside of I don't know when I'd have got it. I don't know who'd have gave it to me. It's one of those things, I must have had it so young that I always remember having it, was a stuffed Chester Cheeto. The cheetah from the Cheetos commercials. Probably 2 feet tall, like skinny, like real thin legs.
Big head.
Around. Yep, big head. That was my stuffed animal in my youth, was Chester Cheeto.
There were always a handful of beat up ones kind of hanging out near the toy box, but they were,
ones the dogs hadn't gotten hold of yet.
They were never like the toy you went there looking for.
They weren't primo or anything. We get home and the front door is open and the family is confused and worried because they think there's a home invader. So Homer has his home protection device.
Which Bart is aware of.
Yep, knows where to get it and brings it to him. It is a cinder block on the end of a chain. First off, not a practical home defense tool.
That said, would hurt like a bastard to get hit with.
You would murder
especially at the
somebody
speed
with that.
He's swinging it at. He's got that thing humming. Like,
also, you would have to be a top tier athlete to swing that thing like that. He's swinging it like Mjolnir. So he's walking through the house with spinning his cinder block, ready to whoop that ass. He gets to the kitchen, and his mom is there. We see Mona Simpson.
Been a minute.
We have not seen her in a long time since she faked her death on that prison bus. Turns out that worked, and she's free now. They believe she's dead, so she's here to be your mom, be Homer's mom. We get a quick dunk on Scrubs, where Homer is like, you're always disappearing and then reappearing, and you're never funny, just like Scrubs, which I thought was a fun joke as somebody who likes Scrubs a lot. Because I think they started on ABC and then moved to NBC.
NBC then moved to ABC.
Oh, is it that way?
And the quality was NBC. Then they had one.
They had a couple of seasons on ABC. Okay. Yeah, I knew they made because I didn't come to that show until after it was long over. So to me, it's all on Netflix. So I wasn't sure which order that went in. Homer's skeptical about her being back for good.
Can't blame him.
Yeah, can't blame him. We've heard this song before. Like, kind of good on Homer.
Yeah, standing up for himself.
Yeah, and not just being like, okay. Like, you expect dumb Homer to just go with it, but he's skeptical about this. And then we see some flashbacks to young Homer being obsessed with food because she's not a good parent and just leaves him sitting in front of the open refrigerator watching the KFC bucket like a television. We get a scene in the bedroom where she comes in, tries to apologize, and Homer won't have it, just pushes her away. And then later that night, he's like, I really shouldn't be so hard on her. Goes downstairs, and she's fucking dead.
Yeah. And, like, it's kind of a, like a heartrending scene. Like, they don't play it for laughs.
Yeah, because she's sitting in front of the fireplace in the chair. You see her from behind. Yeah. And then he goes and is like, oh, what, are you sleeping with your eyes open? And he puts his hand on her shoulder and her head flops down a little bit. You're like, oh, and then like it pans
Cuts
way
back
out
to,
above
like,
the house.
Above the house. You just hear him say mom one more time. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Simpsons.
There is an episode of The Golden Girls where Blanche's dad, Big Daddy, dies, and it will devastate you. Some of the quotes in it.
No kidding.
Like, it's like, I can't fucking watch this anymore. Like, there's one where she says something like, it's like, there's no one left that's rooting for me, which is a hard thing to... Yeah, right? Like,
Jesus Golden
that's
Girls.
crazy. It's like, this was followed by an episode of Empty Nest. that's like going on stage and telling about, you know, like that you have terminal cancer, then handing the mic to another comedian. Like,
Holy
yeah, you watch
shit.
that episode. It's fucking hard to get through at times. Like, I don't know if I've ever done a comedy show where, like, it's that, like, you know, Florence was loved by many, and it's a shock that she's passed so young.
Anyway, who's ready to laugh?
Who's here for fun?
Yeah, I feel like by the time I came to, I think I've only had maybe one of those that was, and it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But it was a little like, maybe don't open the show with that, you guys.
Yep.
I think by the time you and I started doing comedy, people were maybe a little wise to that.
Yeah.
But I have had a couple moderately awkward
I think now that
ones.
I think about it, there have been some that
Ugh.
were rough, but nothing outrageously that bad. Like, oof. Yeah, well, anyhow, here's Skippy to talk about his asshole. Hey, everyone, I'm Skippy. My asshole's all fucked up. I just didn't see my last special, I guess. Holy shit.
Oh,
trying to make all fucked up your catchphrase. That's your get her done, especially in reference to your own asshole.
It's all fucked up. Hey, you said it.
We're doing things up
People
here.
with their all fucked up t-shirts on.
They're mourning. They're all tears in their eyes.
Comedy's weird.
Yeah, it sure is.
So we get Homer obviously sad about all this. He's at Moe's, and there's an amazing scene where Lenny's like, oh, geez, I should call my mom. And he pulls out his phone and calls his mom. He's like, hey, Mom, yeah, it's like, I mean, yeah, easy. Okay. And he hands the phone to Carl, and Carl's like, hey, Mrs. L, you know, and they chit-chat a while, and he's like, okay, I wish I was your son too. And, okay, I'm gonna hand the phone back to. Oh no. Okay, all right, love you too, and hangs up the phone, gives it back to Lenny, and goes, "Hey Mo," Lenny's mom says hi, and Lenny just looks defeated and disheveled this whole time.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that was funny. Homer just kind of in a fog. He's depressed, not really knowing what to do here. Ned and Apu give him conflicting religious-based comfort. That's fun. And then we find a video Will from Mona, who, by the way, is voiced by Glenn Close.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I remembered that until this episode.
I didn't tell. I read it. I looked it up to figure out who it was.
Yeah.
I think it's the third time she's done the voice.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Glenn Close, fucking treasure.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. People want to talk, like, to me, Glenn Close is the Randy Savage to Meryl Streep's Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
One of you is more popular, but the other one is better.
Yeah. Glenn Close kind of had that thing where it happens to most actresses where you're no longer a leading woman because you're no longer a sex symbol.
Yeah.
So she had to navigate those tricky waters of finding good roles until she was old enough to play grandmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is,
fantastic in season 4 of The Shield.
Oh,
Second time that's come up because
Yeah.
she's in the Anthony Anderson season.
Yeah, she's in. Yeah, Glenn Close been around for 40 odd years, but at this point, I would say, yeah,
She's great.
Yeah, Fatal Attraction.
Yeah,
probably her
that's
most
a win.
well-known role.
That's probably her biggest, or at least one of her first.
Or
biggest.
she was also at her peak of being a movie star.
Yeah, yeah.
And good on her. Not a model. Looks, just normal looking woman,
Yep,
but
just a normal lady.
just super fucking talented. So good for you, Glenn Close.
Yeah.
If you're listening.
She's the Prince to Meryl Streep's Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
One's more popular and the other's better. Homer has to. We watch this video, Will, of Mona's, and Homer has to go spread her ashes at the top of Monument Park at a specific time at 3 p.m.
3 p.m. Very specific.
That's her wishes.
Yeah.
So we get the family climbing this fucking tower.
Yeah. Impossible to climb.
Yeah, kind of one by one, they all break off. They all start dropping off.
Bart gives up right away. He's like sunning himself on the hood of the car.
Bart doesn't even really start.
Yeah.
Those fold-out tinfoil tanning things, something you only see on TV. Something that doesn't exist in real life. It looks like a magazine.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Just got to get all them rays, apparently?
I guess, to get up under your chin, and who knows? Not a real thing.
Nope.
Much like hopscotch and Christmas carols. So Homer is the last one. He makes it up to the top, and it's 3 p.m., and he lets the ashes fly. The wind grabs them, sucks them down into the hollow center of the monument tower, this rock monument thing, and sucked straight into the mission launch machine for a missile, and it clogs up the machine, and it breaks, and the missile doesn't launch. This fucking takes a turn. Yeah, we get this weird turn, a lot of James Bond music the rest of this episode, because there is a hidden missile base in the center of this fucking rock formation, and we've destroyed the mission launch machine that controls the missile. Homer falls, of course, and falls down into here and is captured and tied to a chair, and it turns out Mr. Burns runs this facility. Precious little Mr. Burns that we get lately.
Yeah.
We get an excellent with the tented fingers in this episode, which we don't get nearly enough anymore. And he has a plan to launch a missile full of nuclear waste into the Amazon rainforest. That's his plan.
Yeah. Why not in the middle of the ocean, at least?
Right, or into outer space.
Yeah, an island that has nobody on it or something.
No, right in the middle of the rainforest. That's his plan. And now Homer is kind of sour and butthurt that was his mom's final wish, not to just do a nice thing, but for her to, because if you'll remember, she's like a ne'er-do-well, an activist, a beatnik activist, always shutting down nature shit or, industrial shit that's trying to harm nature, chaining herself to trees and all that. And Homer's kind of butthurt that rather than have her last thing be a nice thing, she was just using him to shut this down. And she knew that like 3 p.m. on top is when the winds kick up a certain way and sucks her ashes into the machine. You got to accept a lot there.
Yep. This gets real high concept at the end. And I enjoyed this episode, but boy, making me jump through a lot of hoops.
And we get a lot of good Bond music. They're about to launch the missile because they've repaired the machine. And then Marge and Lisa are outside, and Marge had gotten a hemp purse as part of that video, Will, which she sets on fire and blows into the air duct, which gets all the guards high.
It's not how hemp works.
Not how hemp works at all. And then Homer is like up on the catwalk, and he's like, oh, I just need something to take out the guards. And he sees there a chain and a cinder block. And he has to think for a minute and be like, what can I possibly do with those two items? Jesus Christ, Homer. And then he whips fucking ass with that cinder block on a chain.
I think there's 10 guards and 2 called in 6. But he dispatches 8 guards.
Takes them all out. So Homer saves the day, of course, and then we get a nice little montage of Mona, who is Homer's mom, and like some nice music over the top of it. And then at the end of this episode is dedicated to Dan Castellaneta's mom and
Harry Shearer's
mom. So ended up like this is a good episode. I like this episode, but it takes you for some fucking turns.
Just a little too much for my tastes, but it was a good episode. And fun fact, this episode starts a tradition of episodes about women, or specifically about moms, that air on or around Mother's Day.
Oh,
so we'll notice that. In the spring, there will be an episode.
A mom episode?
Yeah, a mom or a woman-centric episode.
And they start in the fall, so that's usually towards the end of the season. I'll be damned. Look at that. Yeah, I liked this one. Like all the heavy shit in the front end is good. And then once it makes that weird turn into the James Bond shit, even like if you can hold on through that corner, it's still good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good episode.
So far, none of them are like, holy shit, this is good. But none of them have been, like, they've all been a step above average, I'd say.
I think that 4-H episode is a little above for me, but that might be pretty personal.
Yeah,
so.
I'm just going to say, I don't know if you can... You might not be able to look at that one objectively.
I don't think I can. I'm too in it. I'm too deep in. I'm too deep into 4-H.
So we are at the final episode of season 19. Going out of the teens, Marlin.
We're going to be into our hairy 20s.
Yeah, gross, sloppy 20s here pretty soon. So let's enjoy these tight teen years.
Oh, I don't like those words right next to each other, but
well, that's what we're doing.
You do you.
The tight teen years are about to end. Let's picture your tight, taut teen body, Mom.
Oh, I never had a tight, taut teen body. Not ever.
Never had a tight, taut teen body?
No.
Never had. Yeah, me neither. I was never tight nor taut.
No, me neither. Like, the last time I was tight and taut wasn't in my teens. I might have been a tight, taut, but not a...
like really? Tight, taut?
Yeah, like a tight, taut toddler, but not a tight, taut teen.
I wasn't even a tight, taut tween. I was hoping I could be... And did I say tight twat?
You did.
I did say tight twat. Yep. Tight, taut tween.
I certainly wasn't. I think I was a chubby kid by the time I was 5.
I made it to about 8. About 8, yep.
Now you're bragging.
Yeah.
Here we go.
8. And then whenever we moved out of town is when the butter chunks kicked in. You got a case of the butter chunks.
Your tight tautness left you when you were out of town.
Yeah, right? Yeah, out of town. You can't be tight and taut out of town.
All the tight tautness was town related.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Yeah, your
tight tautness was tied to town.
Yeah, hitting those streets. Yeah. Look at us. Like Abbott and Costello here at the wordplay.
Abattoir and Costello.
Yeah. Oh, man. There we go. Why don't we have a Patreon? People would pay for that content.
Yeah, you're welcome for all of that. I should plug in a music cue here, like ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
With like a doorstop getting hit at the
Bang.
So, episode 20, all about Lisa. They're at the Springfield, I'm pretty sure it's called the Springfield Showbiz Awards.
Yep, that's exactly what it's called.
Where we get, the red carpet. We get to see the creme de la creme of Springfield celebrity elite. We get a goddamn Gabbo appearance.
Yep. My first note, Gabbo.
What I don't even remember what Gabbo was ever featured as. Like, there's an episode where he's in it prominently, but what's it even about?
Super
it's
early.
Like season 4
I think he replaces Krusty. Krusty gets canceled.
Is it the Krusty gets canceled episode?
I think so. Don't quote me on that, but I think so.
No kidding.
That was in season 2?
Yeah,
3?
That's very early on. We get a Boobarella appearance. I haven't seen Boobarella in a while.
Yep, I haven't seen her in a while.
And we get a weird overarching narration, at least not so much during the B story, but during the Lisa-centric parts by Sideshow Mel. So Sideshow Mel kind of narrates a story of how Lisa rose to stardom as Krusty the Clown's latest replacement. It's during, I think it's the 4,000th episode of the Krusty Show.
Jesus. He's
announcing that he's holding tryouts for a new Krustateer.
Yep.
I don't like the sounds of that.
Krustateers.
I don't want to be a Krustateer. And of course, all the kids are just geeking out over the chance. They all show up. Milhouse wants it. Nelson does it. Bart does it. And they show the tryouts, and Bart does a hell of a job. He puts on a heck of a show. Nelson just basically abuses for the nerds, and he still gets it because Mrs. Muntz screws Krusty.
Yeah. He's like he watches everyone audition and then turns and is like, what's your boy's name again? And she's buttoning her shirt coming out of the dressing room like Nelson.
Yeah. So that's how, and Bart is crestfallen by this. And Lisa, her and Bart, like siblings, they don't get along. But when Bart is wrong, Lisa's righteous indignation will kick in.
Yeah.
And she's arguing on behalf of Bart. Bart obviously did the best, and this and this and this. And that is how she ends up becoming Krusty's intern, because Krusty sees, she's relentless. We can use her, and we won't pay her anything, because that's an ongoing thing. Krusty is always running things it's always a threadbare operation.
Yeah, trying to save as many coins as he can.
Yeah, so Lisa now works for Krusty. Bart is just, destroyed by this, and he kind of gives up. I think it's Homer kind of talks about, hey, if it's bugging you so much that you got to get rid of any reminders of Krusty, in which it's a good gag, because Bart's room is basically laminated in Krusty merch. It's everywhere.
Bought deep.
Yep. So they take a huge heaping box into the comic book guy's shop and like, hey, what can we get for all this Krusty merch? And of course, in typical comic book guy fashion, it's like this the worst trade-in value ever.
Yeah. I like that Bart starts at, I'll trade you all this for, and he looks around and behind the shop is Radioactive Man versus Muhammad Ali, which that's from like the late 70s. They did Superman versus Muhammad Ali, which is fun.
And his counter offer is Radioactive Man versus like Restless Leg Syndrome or something like that.
Funny.
Yep. And something catches their eye, and there's a book for collecting coins.
Yeah, I've seen those. The books with the holes in them to put coins in.
The coins, and that's what they end up going with, which I did not. What a weird thing in 2008.
You ever flirt with coin collecting?
My old man loves coins. Doesn't love, but he'll collect coins. Like
really?
Like if I'm getting a handful of change and there's a wheat penny, and I'm around my parents, hey, give this to Dad, because there's coffee cans full of wheat pennies somewhere. But my dad's got some cool shit. He has like I think it's nickel pennies made out of the metal nickel, or he's got 10 dimes and pennies during World War II when copper and nickel were of value. So it's just weird to see a penny made out of that shit, and some other random ass old coins and stuff.
I feel like there's two levels of coin collecting. There's your dad and also my dad, which is like, look at that, and keep it in a coffee can.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Or there's what we see here, where you're filling out like, I have to have all these coins. Yep. And those are two different worlds.
My mom, for the last 10, 15 years of her working life, worked at a bank in a small town in North Dakota. Even in that relevant area, there are multiple people that would come in whenever a new quarter design was released and had to have a roll of them, or people that would come in and just buy $50 in pennies, which you want to make sure a cashier at a bank doesn't like you. Make her have to put a weight belt on or a back brace, have to lug pennies out to your goddamn fucking Mercury Tracer or whatever kind of car you drive.
A wheelbarrow full of penny rolls.
Yeah, because you're looking. Some of them are the losers that look for the pre-64 ones because you get an extra nickel worth of copper.
Oh,
get enough of them.
So lame.
Get enough of them. Oh man.
What are you gonna do? You gonna take them home and melt them?
$11 a day.
You have a kiln. Yeah. Is that your plan? I've never maybe never understood isn't the right way to say it, because I kind of get it. I think coins are cool. But like, man, I don't want to fucking sort through coins.
I collected stamps as a child, so who am I to ever raise my nose at coin collecting? One thing I find fascinating, God, this is a nerd thing. I think it's interesting how, as you get older, how the coins that you get in your pocket change. Like when I was a kid, getting a Susan B. Anthony dollar was nothing you would not. It would happen enough where you didn't even blink. Or a 50-cent piece, a Kennedy. The fuck is the last time you got a Kennedy 50-cent piece in your pocket?
have a shit ton of them.
But like it was at one point, it wasn't anything worth collecting, and they were so everywhere. Or especially when I was little, the bicentennial quarters, where I think it's like a guy playing the drums on the back. For 1976, we have a new special quarter. Those were everywhere. I haven't fucking seen one of them in years.
No.
If we were to somehow have a kid, not us together. I mean, even if us together, for them, what it would be is the doll or the state quarters. Yeah. Eventually, they're going to get phased out where you don't see the state. Now that's pretty much all you get in your pocket is state quarters.
I received at some point, when those were hot shit and they just completed them, I received like as a present from a grandparent a book full of them. So I have one of each. May as well fucking use them in the vending machine because they're everywhere now.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Or remember too when you would have been like high school or junior high. Sakakawea dollar coins.
Those were gonna be the thing. We're gonna make a dollar coin work in this country.
So
God
many
damn it.
yellow stickers pushed onto Coke machines.
Yep.
Use your Sakakawea coins. Buy a beverage. Treat yourself.
And no one used them. I don't know why. Why can't we make a dollar coin work in this country?
And we tried about 5-7 years ago with the presidential dollar coins.
Yep.
Just no one wants to use them in this country.
I don't get it. Why do
coins suck compared to bills?
Yeah, coins are fine.
Yeah, I mean, if they announce if on my drive home tonight, hey, we're getting rid of dollar bills end of the year. Fuck, I could give a fuck less. Well, yeah, for some reason we fight it. We don't want just like you're too young to remember when I got in on the very end. They pushed hard as fuck in the early to mid 80s to push the metric system. Like when I was like kindergarten, first grade, they tried. Fuck, we got a lot of metric system training when I was a little fucking kid, and then it just stopped.
More sense. The imperialist system sucks shit.
I bet once you get but one thing the metric system sucks. No one wants to hear a basketball player measure 1.93 meters. No, you want 6'10", baby. But I mean,
you'd get used to it.
Yep. I don't want to listen to fucking No Diggity by Backstreet and hear 1 meter, 0.73 of pure chocolate. I want 6'2".
It is more concise when spoken. I'll give you that. But the gains you make in the math are well worth it. I like coins.
My horn sounds so much better measured in centimeters. I got a goddamn crippler in centimeters.
How many hundreds of centimeters?
8.5 centimeters, baby. Hell yeah, boy. That ain't much. You just got metric system.
Oh, shit. Not my horn.
Oh, gee whiz, Canada.
Oh, shit. They got to change all the Burt Reynolds and Adam Sandler movies to the longest meter. I'm here for that. I like coins. My favorite thing as an outsider looking in on coins as far as collection goes are like the misprints. We get one in this episode, like the mistake coins. Like I'm pretty into that because I like that idea that it sneaks past all the QA people and gets out to market. I like that in general. Like, oh, this thing that was a mistake is available. You can buy it.
It was also not common, but that was a thing, especially more back in the 80s and 90s with the sports cards.
Oh, yeah.
The error card.
Misprints and shit.
Like the classic Billy Ripken fuckface card.
Yeah.
You know, like that was a hot ticket when I was 9 years old. Like
I forget what coin it is, but there's an early coin that I only know this because another podcast I listen to has someone who likes coin collecting on it, and it'll come up every once in a while. But there's a coin, I don't know if it's a quarter or a dollar, but it has Lady Justice on the back. Yeah. And there's a point where it was deemed to be obscene because anything after this, she's fully clothed, and then anything before this year, she has one titty out.
Really?
So I like that. Like, I like that weird cultural shit of like, this is where we decided we can't have a titty on our coin.
Think of how many guys got their first blast in holding a coin in one hand and their dick in the other.
I mean, I did, and I'm not even there for that era. Yeah, I still do. Yeah, I still can't finish without some change in my offhand.
Just fucking blasting, just staring at Thomas Jefferson's weird little ponytail thing.
Christ, look at Eisenhower's jaw. That is a man's jaw.
Had that bald, short hair. Head kind of looked like a titty. Kind of looked like a titty. Boy, that talk about the heart of the fucking. You think the people in the fucking Great Depression had it bad, boy? You're jerking off to Eisenhower's head, thinking it's a titty. Jesus,
got a pencil drawing a little nipple on it.
And like other people know what you're doing. That's good for him. Yeah, I've been there before.
Like Ike.
Yeah. Again, instead of Ike titties ready for later tonight. Yes, sir. We have fun, son. We all do that when we're your age. Fun times. So, Jesus, I got to read where we're at.
Bart and Homer in the comic book shop. They get the coin collecting book.
Yep. So they get the coin collecting bug. We get a montage of Homer and Bart collecting coins throughout town. We get some good gags there. Just them figuring out different ways. There's the one crazy one where they're in that wishing well and that goddamn leprechaun who sounds like a handful. I don't want that leprechaun mad at me.
He's a scrapper.
And they escape, but they escape very by the skin of their teeth. They look rough coming out of that wish well. They put a manhole cover to trap him, which they should. That goddamn leprechaun's a menace.
That was a fun scene. I like that one a lot. I also like them behind the cardboard cutout toll booth that people have been throwing change in. That was good
too, yeah.
That's fun. That's fun cartoon shit.
So they bring all their coins back and they're filling up their coin book and they realize they have everything except the 1917 coin known as the Kissing Lincolns. It was an error where like two Lincolns were pressed onto the same coin. They look like they're smooching.
Yeah, I like that the story. They look it up quick on the internet to see what the story is, and it's like there was a distraction caused by when a woman's bare ankle caused a three-day riot at the Philadelphia Mint.
If you look in the book where there's something listed as half dimes.
I saw that too.
Yeah, and that's a thing.
I think Bart mentions Confederate half dimes.
Yeah, there was a time when half dimes were a thing. Yeah,
but isn't that just a nickel?
Yeah, I'm wondering if nickel is something that came along later.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know.
So now their goal is they got to try to get their hands on one of those Kissing Lincoln pennies. Go back to Lisa. She's very put upon as basically the assistant to Krusty. Because Krusty, epic piece of shit, piles all this work on Lisa that she shouldn't have to do. And she's an intern, she's unpaid. And then at one time, he's in the middle, he's on stage filming. And what's the monkey's name?
Mr. Teeny.
Mr. Teeny can't make it. He's stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
They don't know. They're panicking. Krusty's on stage waiting for Mr. Teeny to come out. So Lisa, on point, dresses up in character and goes out there and they finish the sketch.
Yeah.
And that's Lisa now has the bug.
I liked the shot of the crowd like cheering and applauding her, and she has that look on her face like she just took a big rip of a joint, like oh yeah, that's the stuff. It's like, yeah, we all chase that.
Yeah, the intoxication of
laughter and applause.
Yeah.
I was immediately like, yep, that's what it feels like.
Feels good, does it? Oh, does it ever?
Oh, man.
I like that feeling.
Oh, the approval of strangers.
Keep laughing, strangers. Daddy needs it. Daddy needs it real bad.
You gotta get me through the week.
I have nothing else to get me through. So now Lisa has the bug and she betrays Krusty. She doesn't tell Krusty about a meeting with the execs.
Yeah.
He's just sitting in his hot tub and he realizes it, but he realizes it too late.
Because his agent comes and visits him just like, hey, you got to watch that Lisa Simpson. Yeah. And I like that the agent just
calmly gets in the hot tub wearing a suit, just sits down in a suit. So Lisa's whole thing is, well, he's not here, but maybe, I filled in and I did all right, and it works. And Lisa now is the star of her own show called, creatively enough, The Lisa Show.
Yeah.
Which is a hit.
Big hit.
And it seems very Krusty-like. She's often dressed up in different forms of being a clown and just putting on a show. And the crowd adores her, and now, like that, she's become completely jaded by stardom.
She's become Krusty.
Yep.
Immediately.
Yep, she's now, and one of my favorite things in this is how quickly Krusty falls on hard times.
Oh my God.
He's hosting a middle of the night public access talk show called Last Gasp with Krusty the Clown.
That's so good.
Which, I got a kick out of.
I like that his guest is Jimbo.
Yeah. And Jim was on there to basically, to shame a girl for dumping him.
Aren't you said you broke up with me now?
Yeah. He's flexing.
God.
Jimbo, local bully is how he's described. Oh, yeah, that's good. So to the other story, Bart and Homer strike out on finding the Kissing Lincoln's penny. So they decide, let's just buy one. And they go to an auction sale of fine coins and collectibles. And they are up against Mr. Burns. So it's like Homer bids $5. He bids $500. I think Homer doesn't want to, but he sees how sad Bart is. He bids like $501. And then Burns bids like $2 million.
$10 million.
$10 million.
Yeah.
It's just an outrageous overbid. He doesn't know how to do an auction sale.
I like that he has... Smithers is there holding a wheelbarrow full of coins he's already won.
Yeah.
And Burns is like, I've won every auction, but yet I don't feel good yet.
Yeah.
Maybe this next one.
Yeah.
so
much
funny to me.
So many exotic coins.
When's the last time you were at an auction sale? I feel like you and I should go to like an estate sale out in the country.
I mean, COVID fucked things up. There weren't many auction sales during that.
Oh, yeah.
I was at one this summer.
Were you?
Yeah, I was at a farm
auction. We should
auction.
go to one.
Yeah.
And bring the camera.
Well,
I bet we could have fun at an auction
I used to go to the South Moorhead auction house quite a bit. They'd always.
Oh, I've never been.
Oh, dude. You're not even that far. That's
I live in Moorhead.
7-minute drive for you.
Buddy.
The best sloppy joes you've ever had.
Oh, Chuck Wagon Sloppy Joe is
It is that level of it.
It is the only time I really love a Sloppy Joe.
It's the only.
Is at an auction sale, Chuck Wagon.
Yep. And they have somehow captured that flavor and brought it to the auction house.
It's amazing that we grew up with Chuck Wagons and they were never cool until somebody started calling them food trucks, and now they're fucking everywhere.
Think of that. Surrounded by them as a child.
Yeah.
Any summer event, there was.
I've worked in 4-H Chuck Wagons in my youth.
I think you guys could have been serving fancy foods all over, but
apparently if you'd have shipped this fucking Chuck Wagon out to somewhere where there's human beings and called it a food truck, you'd be millionaires.
If you would have put a sprig of cilantro on top of your sloppy joes, then you could charge $17 for it.
Cilantro's garbage. It's no good. Tastes like soap.
It's about the money. we gotta take the artist out of you, put the businessman in you.
You should start running the business side of this podcast is what you should do. We should be slutting it up as much as we can and make a single $1 off of this podcast.
There should be sloppy Joe, microwavable sloppy Joes at truck stops with our faces on it.
Agreed.
Yep.
America's Barley Basket Sloppy Joes.
Yeah. There's Andy Cap snacks. There could be it could be microwavable entrees with our faces on it.
I'm into it.
It's gonna happen, and it's never gonna happen.
Not with that attitude. Nope. Come on, baby. I need you, Nathan.
So all was lost until Homer, I think, just asks for the coin, which that's not gonna happen.
No, but he tried.
$10 million for, and then he comes back. Hey, my son wants something. Wants a gumball. Do you have change for a nickel? Such a great thing to ask for. And he does. Okay, here you go. And he gives. And he laughs to Smithers that he only gave him 4 cents, not 5.
Yeah.
But one of them was the Kissing Lincolns.
Yeah. Yep. Very crafty.
And it's kind of wholesome. They're happy. They put it in the book. And what do we do next? We put it on the shelf and never look at it again.
Yep. That's how a completed project works.
And then now we get the voiceover from Sideshow Mel. It said, then Bart and Homer get ready for Lisa's big award ceremony. And it's them putting a tux on.
Yeah.
And then it's like them getting in a fight. And then them crying and making up. It's just this weird, because we don't see it. We only get the voiceover with still images, which I thought was
That was fun.
Yeah. So now we're back to where the episode began at this award show. So while Lisa's waiting to take her big award, Sideshow Mel talks to her, and she's kind of dismissive because, again, she's jaded by Hollywood. She's a big star.
Yeah.
She doesn't really want to take Mel's advice, and he just points out on the wall all the faces of all the people that won the Springfield Show Business Person of the Year award. And so, I don't recognize any of these people. I said, well, precisely. It's because they all chased fame. They didn't follow their dreams, and none of them made it anywhere. And even Mel is on the wall. He's a cautionary tale. He was once a trained Shakespearean actor, but he just wanted the applause, so he became Krusty's punching bag. And Lisa has a moment of revelation, oh, I don't want that. So she goes up there, and all eyes on Lisa, and she gives Krusty, hey, Krusty, come up here, and he is super bitter and super salty, and she's doing all these attempts, hey, here you go, and because he's not talented, he can't pick up, and she's like, I'm giving you a chance to make a joke here, you know? Finally, the light bulb goes off, and Krusty becomes, he becomes Krusty, and he kind of like takes over the show, and it's all good laughs. And that's kind of how it ends. Like, Lisa hands the reins back to Krusty.
Yeah, puts the spotlight back on him.
And then Lisa just goes back to her life as a 8-year-old of the Simpson household.
I like that we get a little bit of backstory on Mel because, I never thought of it until this episode. We've never explained why he sounds like that, why he sounds like a fancy super Shakespearean actor. But it's because he was. There's also a fucking joke here that I laughed so hard at, and it's when Homer is begging outside of Burns' limo trying to get the penny out of Burns, and he gives that heartfelt, listen, my boy kind of lost everything, and now we're collecting coins, and it makes him so happy. Please, if we could just have it. Burns looks at him and goes, but we have a problem here, because if you have it, then I don't. That's his whole reasoning. If you have it, I don't. And that's a problem for me.
It's so crazy to me, too, that Burns isn't that much of an exaggeration of the people that run the planet.
Exactly. Yep. That's why he's so funny.
Yep. He's
so funny because he's so real. He is too real.
Yeah.
There's been times in this show where Mr. Burns is super cartoonishly evil, gonna launch nuclear waste into the Amazon rainforest.
Or block out the sun.
Yeah, or block out the sun.
Yeah.
But then there's times where he's just American greedy.
I have all the money, so I should have all the things.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to have a thing because then I don't have it. Is maybe the most honest thing Burns has ever said.
And how he kind of walks through it with him as he says it out loud. Well, if your son were to have it, I would not have it.
I wouldn't.
So it's well, we can't have it.
It's like he has to say it out loud so that he can calculate that.
I should have everything.
He has to work through it.
Yeah.
It's a very American mindset.
Yeah.
Mr. Burns is the most American character on this show.
I would say. Yeah.
It's Duffman is number 2.
I mean, we talk about not getting much Burns. When was the last time we had a Smithers-centric episode?
It's been a long fucking time.
Damn right.
Yeah. And just like that, we're putting a bow on 19, Nathan. We are on to season 20 of The Simpsons.
We did it.
Never thought we'd get this
Here
far.
we are. Everyone, all the haters, Marlin. They said
there are those.
Never going to make it to 20.
In the words of Halo 2, there are those who said this day would never come. What are those to say now?
Yep.
I played too much Halo 2.
It sounds like it. Season, I know you've been wondering, you've been chomping at the bit. When are we going to reach the milestone, Nathan? We finally have, Marlin. Season 20 is the season where The Simpsons tied Gunsmoke for the longest running primetime series in terms of total number of seasons.
That show has since been surpassed also by Monday Night Raw.
Oh, really?
I remember them making a big fucking deal out of it when they passed Gunsmoke.
I think there should be a difference between scripted television and unscripted television. Hasn't technically 60 Minutes been on for 60 years now?
I can see that, but also Monday Night Raw is scripted television. Come on.
Yeah. It's real to me,
Look at you fucking Mark.
Yeah. What about the power slams? Surely they're not fake.
Oh, God, where's that T-shirt? What about the power slams?
It would have to be well, what? What about the power slams? They're so real.
Listen.
Look at the grimace. They're grimacing.
One of these days, we're going to make T-shirts. We're going to make... Well, what about the power slams and Moms Love Dr. Mario?
Yeah.
Those are going to be the 2 shirts that you can buy.
As we record this podcast, there is professional wrestling being held 7 minutes away from here. I'm kind of bummed I'm not there.
Yeah, but we're committed.
Damn it.
We are here to serve.
Those pro wrestlers wouldn't come here and record the podcast for us.
True.
We're going to think about our own desires.
Eric Redbeard is a stone's throw away.
Yeah, We could be jeering and or cheering him right now.
Yeah, we
That's
could.
One of my favorite things to do at a small wrestling thing is loudly boo. I do like a boo, just for the
real sarcastic boo.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, hey, everyone's having fun.
Yeah.
Boo! Like as to somehow they've wronged my family for generations.
Oh, he's making fun of our town.
Big gesticulating hand motions to boo. This is the one I don't like. I will often shout to.
Oh God.
Really like to put some pageantry into it.
God, I love wrestling so much.
So season 20, boy, it's become a completely broken record. Hey,
Remember when this part used to be really fun?
the big laughs, some of the biggest laughs is talking
holy
about
shit,
babes.
Fucking
Drexel's
babes,
house
Drexel's
or whatever.
class.
Drexel's class, yeah.
And now it's just like, this show that's been on for 10 seasons is still on.
And then, or we get just something that was there and gone so quick. And by now they have real adults running Fox, and they won't let cuckoo bird shit fucking out. The one thing we got during this, I do not remember this, and I've watched enough football in this time, I don't even remember ads for this, was something called Sit Down, Shut Up. It was an animated show about teachers, and it was created by the guy that created Arrested Development.
Okay.
And this lasted like 3 episodes as far as I can fucking tell. But yeah. Do you remember that at all?
Not at all.
This wasn't 25 years ago. This was fucking 2009. Like,
it sounds like the dumb title of a bad reality show or reality game show.
Yeah.
Like The Box or what's the one where you had to stay under a certain heart rate while you answered questions? Like, that sounds like what this show ought to be, but I assume it's not.
No, it's, as far as I can tell, it's a show about like teachers that are saying shit that you can't believe. Like all animated shows, they usually have to go hard, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few that don't. Like King of the Hill never went hard once, you know? Like, and God bless it for it.
I should watch King of the Hill. I feel like that's not the first time I've said this on this podcast, but I really should. I bet I've seen less than 10 episodes, fewer than 10 episodes of King of the Hill, and I've definitely seen the Dance Dance Revolution episode probably half a dozen times, because it's very rare that is
something featured
referenced culturally. I saw Mike Judge saying that Beavis and Butthead are coming back. Does that do anything for you?
I don't know. I thought they came back, what was it now, about a decade ago?
Yeah, when those first came out on DVD.
Yep, they came back because, and I remember the thing was, you know, because what I think some of the best things of Beavis and Butthead wasn't the episodes themselves. It was when they would just cut to a music video and Beavis and Butthead would give their commentary on it. So when Beavis and Butthead came back, like in 2012, videos were so irrelevant. They would just show like a 2-minute clip from whatever reality show was big.
Okay.
Like 16 and Pregnant or the Jersey Bros. That's not the name, but what
Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore.
Just them making fun of other MTV shows.
Yep, exactly. It's like they accepted, they can't do videos because MTV doesn't show videos anymore.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think I watched all of them because there's only like 1 8-episode season. Laugh-wise, probably better than the original. It was so good. I was like... And then, of course, they haven't touched it since. So, I mean, hopefully whatever they come out with is good. But is MTV even relevant enough to show that? I bet that'll be a Paramount Network exclusive.
I was about to say, I'm sure that'll be some manner of stream thing.
Yeah, it seems like that's what MTV does with some of their content now, is it goes right to Paramount.
I'll watch it. I like Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah. Hopefully it's good.
Beavis and Butthead was the first time I ever saw Gwar on a screen. Was them watching the Sadama Go-Go video. Yeah. And I vividly remember Beavis going, "Whoa, Gwar has horns now?" There's a lot of horns in that song. And that song fucking whips ass.
I remember them watching a video by Crowbar, and they have like this emotional turmoil because they want to make fun of Crowbar for being fat, but then it's really heavy, and they love it because it's like, there's this emotional crisis. Like, do we like this because it's heavy, or do we hate it because they're fat?
That's funny.
And another one is a song, especially then, that I adored was "Possum Kingdom" by the Toadies.
Yeah.
And the video, when they're reviewing it or they're talking about it, Butthead just dismisses it and And Beavis the whole time is like almost in tears. Like, you're not even giving it a chance. This song is good. It's so great. Like the build up and how angry Beavis gets and how little attention Butthead's paying to it.
I should watch that movie again. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. Isn't Butthead Do America?
It's been Jesus, yeah. I might have saw it in the theater. I remember going to that. That might have been the last time I saw it all the way through.
I definitely rented it on DVD from the Cenex in my youth. That movie's fucking great. That movie has the best Red Hot Chili Peppers song in it, which is their cover of Love Roller Coaster.
Ohio Valley Players.
You got it.
Is that who sang the original?
I watched you piece that together in your mind.
I had Ohio and Players. It's like, what's in the middle? One thing, because it's funny because you touched on this earlier, this network season, so fall 2008 going into spring 2009, this was the random year that Scrubs was on ABC.
Oh, really?
Yep. That show's been off the air that long.
Man.
That this was like the last season where they did that last gasp on ABC.
That show is really good. That show is so good.
I'm sure there are examples of it. Maybe Brooklyn Nine-Nine is thriving wherever it's at now. But boy, when you switch networks,
oh yeah, the switcheroo is tough to pull off.
It's almost forgotten. Like, wait, there was one final season of Family Matters on CBS. Yep, there sure was. But
I think Community tried to pull that switch by going from NBC, like they got canceled on NBC and then went to like Yahoo.
Oh, right, yeah.
But like for me, the show was over before that. Yeah. For me, Community ends when Chevy Chase leaves it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they do replace him, but it's like it's not the same. Community's fucking good.
Is it?
I really adore that show.
Speaking of shows that I've always been told are very good, and I have seen a few and I did enjoy them, but I've seen 3 out of the 150 they probably made. A show that debuted this fall, Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec is great.
I've heard, yeah.
I think Parks and Rec, for me anyway, personally, and I know that I'm in the minority here, but I will take Parks and Rec over The Office.
I thought you were going to pair them together.
Day.
In my head, I paired them. I wonder if they aired side by side on NBC.
Well, there's a little bit of that, and they are both the same style in that they're kind of shot in that mockumentary.
Fake documentary, yep.
Where, like, characters occasionally talk straight to the camera. Yep. But Parks and Rec, I think, takes a little bit of spin up. I think the first season and a half of Parks and Rec is not very good.
Oh, interesting.
But once Rob Lowe shows up, that show turns into gold.
Yeah, as could any house party in the late 80s in LA. Once Rob Lowe shows up, this party's going to be off the chain. Another show that debuted this fall, but the only other thing that I found, because I've saw a long list of real uneventful shows, one thing that debuted, it's because that means it's already like 13, 14 seasons old, Shark Tank. It's been on the air that long.
My brain still thinks Shark Tank is like a new thing.
Mm-hmm. Nope. 14 years. We're probably in season 14 right now.
Ugh.
Think of how quickly our bodies betray us. Next thing we'll know, we'll be in nursing homes. They'll have a android Mark Cuban telling somebody that their, like sock warmer idea won't make it because of global warming. We don't need our socks warmed anymore,
I feel like we just the other day found out who Mark Cuban was because we saw him in the crowd at Mavericks games.
Yeah.
But it turns out that was over 13 or 14 years ago.
Think of that. Yeah, he's been the owner of the Mavericks for 23 years now, I bet.
That means I think Dirk Nowitzki is still playing. Mm-hmm. And he for sure is not, right?
Yeah, he's gone now. About 3 years.
Dead? That made it sound like he's dead.
Gone from the hardwood, but still in our hearts forever. Still milling around Dallas somewhere.
You think so? You think he didn't leave Dallas as soon as he could?
No. Yeah, he's got a wife and shit there. Yeah, and he has some kind of, because there was always like the rumor that because he was accepting some real sweetheart contracts at the end of his career. It's like, is there some kind of handshake agreement? You only play for $5 million, but I'll give you a $5 million a year job for the rest of your life.
Sounds like radio payola.
Yeah, right.
Or like college athlete on the
right?
slide.
Yeah, that's
sounds
exactly
like Nick Nolte's Blue Chips is what it sounds like.
Yeah, you come here and play football for us. I'll make sure you make $250,000 a year selling cars for the rest of your life,
quote unquote. Yeah. Tell you what, we'll buy your dad a tractor.
Yeah,
that's from Blue Chips.
Yeah. I know, was it Eric Dickerson, when he was all the Texas schools, he was the hottest running back on the planet in the early 80s. All the NFL or all the Texas schools were fighting for him. One of them bought him a Trans Am in his grandmother's name, and he's just like, someone else offered something else. He just took that Trans Am and drove to the other campus.
Amazing.
So great. Just cooking whatever college that was, Texas Tech or Texas A&M, because I think he went to SMU.
Okay.
Yeah. And then SMU, one of the few schools to ever get the death penalty. They broke so many NCAA violations, they just lost a whole season of football.
Jeez.
So just like, go home, see you in the fall of 2023. We're done with. They might have got a 2-year death penalty, which they just have been able to put the pieces back 20 odd years later. That fucks you so bad.
Oh,
because like, how do you recruit? We we had to take a couple years off because we were so corrupt. But I assure you, your son is going to be in good hands.
I love that they come down on these schools for corruption, which they deserve, no doubt.
Yeah.
But the NCAA itself is the crookedest fucking organization.
Why were they the one? Because they did it just 1 inch too far when everyone else is just as outrageous, you know? Like,
Eric Dickerson went on to have a hell of a career for the Rams.
Kind of jumped around. He was a Ram. He was a Colt briefly. He was one of those guys that just never found that team to. Well, sometimes you get drafted, you're on a shit team, and you just get fed up, so you just kind of jump around, you know?
Odds are, the way the draft works, you're on a shit team, especially if you're super
especially back
good.
then when running backs, when the NFL was built around running backs, which those days are gone.
Long gone. Thank God.
Yeah.
I'm here for the huck it and chuck it.
I like a good Barry Sanders was poetry in motion.
I got no time for a fucking ground game. But I'm here to get entertained.
You wear them down with the ground game, then the air game opens wide up.
Yeah.
They start inching those safeties in,
Come
Marlin.
in with your fundamentals.
Watch those safeties. Watch them come in. They get nervous. They can't allow those running gaps. You throw it over the safeties.
Sounds like you're a big... Do you also like watching the San Antonio Spurs play basketball?
Took me a while, but then I warmed up.
Of course you did.
That
They're
extra
so
pass, baby.
Boring.
That extra pass.
God.
Oh, yeah. Look at Tiago Splitter feeding the cutter.
Sometimes when sports are too fundamentally sound, they're fucking boring to watch.
There's beauty in it. Look at those defensive rotations.
Nope, pass. Hard pass. Let's kick off season 20, why don't we?
Fucking do it.
Episode number 1, Sex, Pies, and Idiot Scrapes. I have noted I've never seen Sex, Lies, and Videotapes and don't know what it is.
I have seen it. I actually owned a copy of it. I think I tried to watch it once, and I watched under like less than ideal conditions, so I wasn't paying attention enough. Didn't do a whole lot for me, but again, I didn't give it enough of a try. It was a shocking little amount of sex in it.
It's mostly lies and videotapes.
It's one of those, put your hands in the air. How can I fap to this? Just what am I doing here? This is not fap worthy.
I love that if you can't pull it to something, you put your hands in the air. Like you're on a roller coaster.
Yeah, this is pointless.
Hey.
I got my special towels, I got my ointments, got my stroke lubes out. I have my little nice candles lit. This is what I get. I get fucking James Spader talking. No, I need something to stroke to.
Now, speaking of James Spader and stroke worthy, maybe you throw in Crash. Maybe you watch Crash.
Dude, you could nut to Crash 8 Ways Till Tuesday before you could nut to Sex, Lies, and Videotape.
You're gonna have some questions to ask about yourself afterwards, but
God, Helen Hunt and leg braces signed me up. Yeah, you got a weird Casey Jones fetish you got to piece together, but hey,
I don't need you judging me.
Yeah, this is a judgment-free podcast.
Really? Because you just threw out weird in a real
That's true.
snark tone.
I should have put weird in a positive light.
Yeah.
Hey, there we go. You're right. I apologize. I want you to
Walk it
fucking
back,
beat
baby.
your body up to Elias Kostius till the cows come home. You're going to call into work. I just watched Skinwalkers. Elias Kostius had an appearance.
I just watched Turtles 1 and 3 again because he's not in 2. New season of The Simpsons means new couch gags. Right off the bat, we get one where Boba Fett comes out and freezes them in
Carbonite.
Carbonite.
Yeah, that was a nice touch.
And wheels them away. I have not watched that new show, but it's apparently pretty solid from what I've heard.
But I've heard it's not to the levels of The Mandalorian, but Mandalorian was damn good.
I've only seen the first season of The Mandalorian and then I have trouble with streaming shows that don't just dump the whole season at once. When they do this fucking week-to-week bullshit, this is why I'm not keeping up on Peacemaker. Like, I don't like that. Dump the whole season all at once, because otherwise what happens is what happens with The Mandalorian, which is I'm going to let that spin up, and when it's all done, then I'll watch it, and then I fucking forget about it.
Yeah, you need your goodies.
I need it.
Oh.
You got to give it to me all in one shot.
Yeah, I so rarely ever watch anything from the get-go that I don't even notice. If that makes sense. Like,
it's the same way with Doom Patrol. I love Doom Patrol. Season 3's over. I haven't seen any of it yet because it fucking comes out week to week. Like,
is that an HBO thing?
Yeah, HBO Max. That
and
show's
Disney,
great.
apparently.
That show's fucking wonderful. That show's so good.
No shit.
Brendan Fraser in a fucking tour de force.
Good for him.
Absolute top of the mountain.
Seems like a nice fella.
Yeah, Alan Tudyk, super fucking good.
That name's probably made up. But it seems like you have an honest look in your eyes. This isn't you just going off script here.
You would know Alan Tudyk if you saw his face.
Yeah, Bobby Bosco Jr. plays that talking duck. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, wonderful. So good. Yeah.
Alan Tudyk is Wash from Firefly, the pilot, skinny blonde guy.
I mean, I'm believing this is all true, but
okay.
I've never seen Firefly.
Oh, it's good. It's very good.
I like ragtag space people. Yep.
Yeah, they're space cowboys.
That's in my likes and dislikes on dating profiles. Are you a ragtag space person?
We have the St. Paddy's Day celebration in Springfield, and it's a booze-free St. Paddy's Day, which they're not big fans of. We get like a St. Paddy's Day parade.
The Irish boy most resembling a potato float.
So fucking good.
That was good.
I liked the small Irish family float, which is just two parents surrounded by a sea of 100 babies.
Yeah.
We get a couple of good shots at the Irish here in this episode. And then there's a competing parade. The North Irish are also here. And now it's on.
Yep.
I want to know, because we do have a relatively solid amount of Irish listeners, how accurate this is.
Yeah.
If our Irish listeners and North Irish listeners came across each other, how much beef would there really be?
And there's a comment. Are North Irish Protestants? Is that what?
I believe, boy, I'm outside my realm, but I think that's the case.
Yeah.
I think North Ireland is Protestant and more into England than Ireland.
Yeah.
I might have that backwards.
Yeah.
I don't want to offend our Irish folks, but I think that's how it is.
I think at least that's how they portrayed it on this episode here.
That's true.
Yeah. You Irish at all?
I have wanted to do an Ancestry.com thing for a while, and I should. I was told once by, I think, my dad that there is some on that side of the family.
Interesting.
That explained the alcoholism.
Yeah.
And the red beards.
I think I'm a sliver of Scottish, but the rest is just Northern European farmhand. Big. Lift things. Giant head.
Sliver of Scottish is my favorite butter brand. But yeah, from what I was told once 30 years ago by a man who didn't know what he was talking about, there's some, I think. So
well, there you go.
I should find out.
St. Patrick's Day just down the road. You could celebrate with pride.
I'm gonna celebrate St. Patrick's Day because I do anyway. Because we all do, because it's an American holiday.
I don't think I ever have once in my life.
What?
I've never gotten drunk because it was St. Patrick's Day.
Buddy.
Yeah.
I don't go that hard anymore, but there was a time in my life where I didn't miss a St. Patty's Day pub crawl for like 8 years in a row.
Really? Yeah.
Oh yeah, green beer, fucking Tooraloo, all of that.
Yeah,
like
none of it
listening to
appealed
too
to me.
much Dropkick Murphys.
Everything you're saying doesn't appeal to me.
Except the drinking part.
Yeah, and even I don't like a pub crawl, but it's got to be something like zombie themed that I'm into. That'll get me out for a pub crawl.
No, zombies are. I'm not it. It's too much fucking work.
Yeah.
Show up in a green shirt and get wasted.
I'm
there for that
I like
level
seeing
of
the people that went way too hard for the like that's movie quality zombie shit. Like I love that kind of shit. Yeah, like the creativity. I like a little arts and crafts, Marlin.
I'm not judging you, Nathan.
With my day drinking, which leads to my evening puking.
We had it down to a science in our hard drinking days where we would be at the first bar ready to roll 10 minutes to 11 a.m. And kick in that door at 11 and we could be done. We could have hit all 8 bars on the pub crawl in downtown Fargo by 12:30 tops.
Oh, yeah.
Just putting in fucking miles.
Anytime you're cracking a beer before lunch, you're just in for a bad night.
No, okay, maybe you're in for a bad night, but you're in for a hell of an afternoon.
Yeah, and I'm not a big afternoon drinking guy.
Yeah, you're missing out.
Yeah, I don't think I am.
I don't know.
I have seen the streets after the St. Patrick's Day. It's vomitorium level, like it's end of the Roman Empire level of vomit. Like this doesn't look fun to me.
I, in a roundabout way, am going to celebrate St. Patrick's Day this year by going to Slipknot on the 16th and then Elton John on the 19th.
Hell of a cover.
I'm going to bookend in the same venue. So
just sleep in the parking lot. Yeah.
And then Elton John.
Just do a wet nap bath in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. Stay there for 3 days when I don't have to.
Yeah. You could see your apartment.
I could go home.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, when it comes to like shit like St. Patrick's Day, I'm the towny elitist that just goes to the bar I would go to anyway on a Friday night and just shake my head at the people that are passed out at 6 p.m.
Straightening your tie like, amateur hour,
yeah,
huh?
Right, exactly. Yeah, I'm that guy. Yeah, I'm that fucking stick in the mud.
I could see you being that guy.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Learn to fucking drink. I got to be that way with drinking games, which is funny because I like games. Just like, I've reached a level of sadness. I don't need a game to make me want to drink heavy.
Even in my 20s, I never quite understood drinking games. It's like you can just drink. Like it doesn't have to, like if you want to drink and play a game, I get that. But why are you constricting? Mm-hmm. Because that was always my case, is that I drink less if I'm playing by the rules of your game. Yeah. Why would I do that? So the two flavors of Irish get into it. There's fighting, and then there's a brief moment of peace when Lisa is singing, and then there's fighting again. Some street urchins come along and steal Marge's cupcakes. And this mysterious Irish stranger, Mr. Farley, comes in and saves her cupcakes by distracting the children with a cabbage. Yeah. He hucks a cabbage down the street and they all chase it.
If it's good gumming you're after, wouldn't you want this cabbage? I think is his exact line.
God damn it.
Because they ain't got teeth.
Yep. So he saves the cupcakes and then offers her a job in his bakery. And she says yes, of course. She's super into that. Homer, arrested with a ton of townspeople in these St. Patty's Day riots, and goes into court and gets hit with a $25,000 bail.
Repeat offender.
And goes to a bondsman to get this all sorted out. I am in my mid-30s. No clue how any of this works.
Because of this, I Googled it. Our fair city of Fargo at least has 2 brick and mortar bondsmen.
There's one less than a block away from here.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, on the Moorhead side.
Okay, yeah, I'm just looking at Fargo, yeah. One of them had the most glowing Google reviews. It's like, Mark is an angel. I have never had to deal with something like this in my life. He walked through the process. He made everything feel very comfortable and safe. So it's like Fargo has the other one. This man will cut you with a box cutter if you do not pay him. My buddy had to get it. He was young too. He had an ID from a buddy that kind of looked like him, and it would work in a small town bar. But he went to like a more college-centric, meat market bar where they're checking shit a little closer, and he got busted, and he was a $1,000 fine when he probably didn't have $20 to his name, And yeah, they do not, like, if you fucking run on me, you motherfucker, I will fucking cut you. I'll find your fucking kids. It's like, I'm 12. And I don't got that, you know? Like,
so the business model is you get arrested and you owe $1,000 bail
yep.
to get out of jail.
Yep.
I am a bail bondsman. I pay your bail and you pay me back that 1,000 plus a little, because that's how I make money. But what I'm risking is that you might take off.
Yep.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, just like
I do know how those work.
Yeah, just like running from a loan, you know? Like,
sure.
Just stop paying the bank, you know? Like,
okay. Got it. So Homer doesn't have $25,000, goes to a bail bondsman who is Wolf the Bounty Hunter, who is Dog the Bounty Hunter, who I didn't know was around back then.
Yep.
But like this is
how time
like late 08. Yep. Jeez. This probably would have been around the time then that South Park did their famous Dog the Bounty Hunter episode.
I used to do a joke on stage like, do you think Dog the Bounty Hunter ever licks peanut butter off his own balls? How have I not got a sitcom, Marlin? That's the solid gold I'm giving out
That's
to America.
That's a good dumb joke.
Yep.
I like that.
Yep.
So Homer is there and he gets fired from, like, Mr. Burns is like, oh, you can't work for me if you got arrested. And so Homer is fired and is immediately hired as bounty hunter.
Yep.
And there's a fun joke of like, well, you have to do this training course. Well, actually, they canceled that. Well, there's a $10 filing fee. Well, there's ways to get around that. Congratulations, you're hired.
$10 filing fee.
Yeah, that was very funny. I'm surprised they didn't get Dog to voice this.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that he's not just Dog the Bounty Hunter, which says to me they for sure tried and couldn't.
Said no.
Yeah. So,
you know, this might have been the peak of that show, so maybe he was just high on the smell of his own farts and thought he was like, no, you got to pay me big money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who I am?
Yep.
Yeah. Boy, you ever watch that show?
God, I've probably seen chunks of episodes.
Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces here and there. Dreadful television.
Yeah. And I'm a guy that can get into trash TV, but that just never,
Dog always wants you to find Jesus, bruh.
Yeah.
Like it's
and just I don't get it. Yep. I'd rather watch two schlubby middle-aged men dig around in a Quonset for antiques. That's my flavor of trash TV.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to watch either of those, but
if I had to,
if you put a gun in my head and made me pick one, give me the Quonset.
Yeah. That's a studio exec show. That's the content they're looking for.
Give me the Quonset is the new T-shirt.
As they're data mining our podcast. More American pickers.
So Homer's a bounty hunter now, and he goes to collect a bounty from Snake. We get Julia Louis-Dreyfus real briefly as Snake's girlfriend.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Apparently, I didn't know this until I looked it up. Apparently, the third time she's played that role.
Really?
Anytime we've seen Snake's girlfriend, it's Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
No shit.
I like her. So Homer goes to wrangle Snake, and Snake shoots at him, and Flanders is there. Flanders saves him with a piece of bulletproof glass that he's going to replace in his left thorium.
Yeah.
Saves Homer. They wrap up Snake. Homer's way of apprehending criminals by putting a plastic bag on their head until they pass out is
Dangerous?
fucked up.
Yeah.
It's real fucked up. And they're going to team up. Flanders and Homer.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought?
Flanders needs the money. The left thorium ain't making that much money anymore.
Yeah, because of course it is. I love when he's standing in his store just waving at people like, enjoy the other stores.
Yeah.
Like he's so cheerful in his absolute failure. I love Ned Flanders. So they're going to team up, and they're going to be bounty hunters. Meanwhile, Marge is working in is it Flannery? Fairley.
Yep.
Working in Fairley's bakery, and it dawns on her that she is working in an erotic bakery.
when Patty and Selma enter and they just get so worked up over the erotic cannolis.
Oh, my God.
I'll leave you with the catalog.
Yeah, when he's like, oh, and hands him the book, flips it open. Because in your mind, you're thinking of cannolis and how you could pretty easily make those erotic. It's like, oh, yeah, there's some saucy stuff in that book.
Going back to when they're at the Leftorium and Homer's like talking Flanders into joining up with him as a bounty hunter. 2 store signs or 2 businesses outside that I thought were good. One was called Just Vinegar, which I like that as a mall store. And the other one was Expensive Coffee in Little Cups.
That's the one I caught, which I enjoyed. I would go there. I love expensive coffee in little cups. Marge finding out that she's just now learning. Like, she's worked there for a while now and is just now learning that it's an erotic bakery and not a regular bakery. And I love this scene where she's like pissed off and indignant, but can't think of a good reason why. You know what I mean? Like, she keeps being like, well, yeah, but what about... Well, I guess, that's like she keeps trying to find a reason to be mad.
You never thought of
other than just being uppity.
Yeah.
I like that. I thought that was a fun scene that like shone a mirror back at Marge to be like, you don't have a reason to be pissy. Because she's making good money and enjoys her job.
And not hurting anyone.
But suddenly she finds...
And he's like, most of our clients are middle-aged couples. You know, like...
Suddenly she finds out that her cakes are shaped like dicks, and now she's mad. Like, so I like that she kind of gets settled down and put in her place a little. We get a montage of Ned Flanders and Homer Simpson being bounty hunters. Good Neighbors Bail Bonds is the name of their business. And it's all set to Electric Avenue, which is a hot banger. I like Electric Avenue a lot.
Eddie Grant?
I believe. Also a very good cover by Skindred. The reggae metal band.
For that,
Yeah, they do a good cover of that. Homer comes home from work with like, hey kids, I brought you stuff from work. Gives Bart a bag of bullets, just a Ziploc bag full of bullets, and gives Lisa a meth lab.
Yeah, and which she immediately notices, like, wait, like,
did this come? Like, he's like, a new chemistry set. She's like, did this come from a meth lab? And he's proud. Yep, the biggest one in the city. Like, he's
this is evidence.
Very happy with himself. So now Ned and Homer are out. They're like enjoying themselves. They're staking out Luigi's because they're going to take down Fat Tony.
Oh, yep.
And we get a scene of Homer's method of eating pizza.
Insane. Yeah.
He takes a slice, rolls it from the pointy end until it's rolled up tight like an egg roll and just guns it.
Yeah.
Just down the hatch like a Swiss cake roll. Disgusting.
Yep.
Horrifying.
He's like, wait for it to unfold inside your stomach.
Yeah, he gets Ned to try it. Ned horfs one down and then is like, oh, okay. And wait for it to unfold inside your stomach. And you see Ned go, oh, there it is. Reminded me, I had a friend who would make Totino's party pizzas, which we all love. Let's not judge each other. We all love Totino's party pizzas. He would cook them A, in the microwave. Bad person.
Nope.
B, when it was done, he would take it out, roll it up tight like a Swiss cake roll, and eat it that way.
Oh, interesting.
Like, eat it from one end like it's a giant cartoon cigar.
Yep.
And would eat like 3 in a sitting.
An affront to the Lord.
Just horrible. I remember being like, dude, why?
You don't have to do that.
What's wrong with you? You can cook them in the oven like a normal person and cut them into slices like a normal pizza. Homer and Ned, they chase down Fat Tony, but then, like, Homer's methods are very questionable. Yeah. He's back to that paper bag again, or
and he
plastic
drives
bag
his
again.
Car onto a moving elevated subway, or
drives it straight into the. I'm going to assume that's the monorail. I assume they still have it going.
Oh, good point. Yeah,
from 15 seasons ago. So yeah, Homer and Ned break up because Homer's a fucking renegade and won't follow any rules. And that was kind of Ned's sticking point from the get-go of like, I'll join you in this as long as we do it by the book. But Homer, of course, not much of a book guy. So now they're broken up. Ned goes back to home base there where Wolf, the bounty hunter, back to that office.
And there's like kind of like a guy in charge, like an office guy too.
Yeah, who's played by Robert Forster.
Oh, yep. Yeah, I could tell that.
From Mulholland Drive.
Yeah.
And upon
Jackie Brown.
Yeah.
Yep.
And upon looking back, even looks like Robert Forster.
Yeah,
like,
right.
oh, okay.
Sure, yeah.
He gives Ned a bounty. It's Homer's. Ned has to hunt Homer because Homer didn't show up for his court date for the
because of course
St. Patty's Day fucking row that he was involved in. So Ned gonna hunt down Homer. We get this ridiculous fucking chase scene. There's so much parkour happening,
which makes no sense.
Yeah. Like Homer is the least physically fit man, and then goes on. This is like the chase version of Peter and the Chicken. You know, like
because it just goes, it's endless.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous. Goes on far too long. At one point, they end up at a construction site, and Homer says, "You hang on to resentment like a Confederate widow," which is so funny to me. Holy shit! I thought that was a good joke.
And then Flanders makes a good point too. It's like he's like you don't know how to forgive. It's like I forgave you for killing my wife.
And Homer's like, yeah, I mean here and there, but not the big stuff.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I had forgotten all about poor Maude and how she met her end, how it was for sure Homer's fault.
The only major recurring character that's ever been killed off.
Yeah. To this day. So they're on this construction site, and they kind of mend fences real slightly and then fall into the wet cement.
Yep, because Ned's about to drop to his demise. He's hanging from a steel girder from a crane, and then Homer kind of has a flashback of all the good moments they've had. And he saves him, and it's like got a heart. I was like, well, what are you holding on to? And he's just falling,
and they're both falling through the air. That was a funny bit.
Yeah,
and they land in wet cement, and then immediately Homer's like, we gotta move before the cement hardens, but it's already too late. They're stuck in the wet cement, and we cut back to, we kind of like time fade to where it's
middle
evening
of the night,
and Ned is like wrapping up the Old Testament. He has recited it from memory.
I think I can do it from memory.
And then he's like, and new verse, same as the old verse. I'm talking about the New Testament. And he launches right into Matthew 1, which is just fucking Jacob begot John begot
son of David,
doing
son
the
of Abraham.
genealogy of Jesus. Holy shit. Just launches right into it. Homer looking super bored this whole time. And then the cops show up. And we see Homer in jail, and he's reading a note from Marge about how, like, we'll come get you on Monday or whatever. In the meantime, enjoy this sexy cake. And he opens it up, and it just says, like, I love you or something.
To the love of my life.
There you go. Says something very sweet.
A wholesome ending.
Super fucking wholesome ending.
This is the show that they wanted to take off TV.
This is the show Bush 1 hated.
Yeah.
This is the show I was not allowed to watch in my youth.
You can't see long-time married couples that are still in love. You know, share delightful cakes.
Super sweet ending to the show. And that's it. And we're off on season 20, Nathan. We've hit the ground a-running.
Yeah. Look where we're at now.
20 seasons in.
So much has changed.
Like, we haven't completed season 20, so we can't say we're 20 seasons in, but we're 20 seasons in, Nathan.
19.04.
Sure, if you say so. I'm so bad at math.
Yeah. So we did. Look at us. We're in our 20s now. Pretty soon we'll be able to go to the bar legally. Pretty soon we'll get our car insurance cheaper at season 25.
You got anything going on in your life at this point, like late 08?
Late 08, I'm probably actually in a decent spot in life. I'm back in grad school, I bet, or starting grad school, not back. Starting grad school, meeting a lot of new friends, having a lot of fun. Really enjoyed grad school. And yeah, still working in a dead-end, pointless call center job. Other than that.
Yeah, I am just still in rock radio at this point.
Okay.
Just living in real shithole little apartments and barely scraping by, but enjoying my work. So
you working nights? You working mornings? You shock jocking it?
no, I'm mostly working during the day. And at this point, like late 08, I'm probably still a few days a week running the board, pushing the buttons for the morning show. So there's at least 2 or 3 days a week where I got to be there at like 4:30 a.m.
Flip them switches for Dweezil and the Stooge or something like that, you know? Like,
but none of the days are in a row, so I can never quite keep a legit sleep schedule.
The things a guy will do $5.90 an hour.
Yeah, I'm making about that. Yeah. And
someday you'll be Dweezil or the Stooge.
That's what I was promised.
Yeah.
Someday.
Tell me if I do everything else right, I'll
did
be
not come to fruition.
Yeah.
But I think I'm probably on nights at this point. I'm probably on the 7 to midnight shift.
Oh, really?
For on the air. But you're kind of there whenever.
Yeah.
Making
How
commercials
often would you
and
get
shit.
a phone call working a 7 to midnight shift? Like, hey, could I hear Seether?
Oh, not too bad. Probably 2 to 5 an hour.
Oh, it's that much even? Mm-hmm. And is it mostly requests?
Mostly requests. The occasional, like, I'm doing a giveaway, giving tickets to Disturbed or whatever,
shit, okay.
Still doing prizes.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to end in probably about a year at this point where you're just pre-recording everything.
Oh, it's depressing.
And you're not even in the booth ever. So
there's one AM station I listen to on my car, not because I gave a shit about it. They still have a human being in the, yep.
Good for them.
I like that.
Yep. Something about having a human there.
Yeah. Someone to tell me what the temperature is in Fargo, and I can hear the unsteadiness of their voice.
Boy, you get the fucking pep talk early on about, hey, if you pre-record and you do a weather break, don't be too specific on the weather.
It's going to be something out there, everyone. You know what I mean? Hey, pack your...
Partly cloudy in the 50s. Yeah. Don't give them anything specific. Because if there's a cloud, you can say partly cloudy.
In the mids.
The wind is from that away.
You know how it can be.
Add a little bit to a more bit.
We're having fun. So, yeah, here's more Seether. So, anyway, here's more Seether. It's not even Seether, but it sounds like that, but no one even calls you on it.
It's a Shinedown song.
It's all Seether.
No
Everything's
one
Seether.
bothers.
Fuck.
It's all Seether.
None of this matters.
Everything is Seether.
It's Theory of the Dead Man. Terrific. Whatever.
Oh, Christ. You don't know how right you are.
Yeah.
Let's keep going in season 20 next week.
I want to.
Let's keep at it.
I want to see where is this flower's going to keep blossoming.
We're going to blossom all the way from episodes 2 to 6 next week.
Can you believe it?
That is the homework. Season 20, episodes 2 through 6 is your homework for next week. Those 5 episodes. You can find us on the internet at Barley Basket USA, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. BarleyBasketUSA@gmail.com is the email address. You can see Nathan and I and some of our friends slanging jokes.
Why not?
This Friday at the Troll Lounge in Fargo, North Dakota.
Bring your friends.
Please bring your friends.
It's a door deal. We need to make this financially viable.
We need to make the door.
I can't lose money.
How do you feel about getting a Blues Brothers style giant speaker and strapping it to your car?
I do drive a large sedan.
And driving around advertising the show.
Which is great to advertise a show when it's negative 45 degrees outside. There's literally no foot traffic.
Yep. Seems like a good system to me.
Good time to do comedy.
That's this Friday at the Troll Lounge. Nathan and I will be telling jokes.
I'll be there.
In Fargo.
Come on, make the drive. It ain't as far as you think.
Yeah. If you're one of our Columbus listeners, come on out. If you're one of our Irish listeners, buy a ticket in solidarity.
You can come stay in my basement.
You can stay right on my couch.
Get your centipede shots. We'll all lay out on the basement floor.
I don't want to brag. I got no centipedes.
Okay.
I can probably charge extra to listeners. Do you want to sleep on the couch where Nathan sits for our podcast?
Ooh. There we go.
You see what I'm doing?
I like that. That's monetizing.
Yeah.
Oh.
You can be stared at by the same cat that stares at Nathan while we record.
Or do you want to look at you could sit on the couch where my buns have sat, or do you want to witness my buns in action? As I buck them when I sleep. As I gently make love to my mattress.
Yeesh.
Because we love each other.
Nathan and I and his buns will be back next week with episodes 2 through 6 of season 20.
I'll be there.
I imagine I can make it.
Cool.
Bye.
See you, everyone.